All right. What is up, everybody? What's up, everybody? We are supposed to be joined by Hood Conservative today. I don't know what's going on. Haven't been able to get a hold of him. We did have some email exchange. So if he shows up, he shows up. If he shows up, he shows up. But I'm going to go ahead and press forward and start the show. Shout out to everybody in the building. Y'all already know the deal. Y'all know the routine. Make sure you hit the like button, whether you're catching it live or you're catching it after it's uploaded. Make sure you hit the like button. We're going to be getting into this thing. We gotta cover King Randall, who, as many of you know, has a school for boys, black boys, and it's doing really well, really successful. He did in a short amount of time what Umar Johnson took almost his entire natural life to. Have they? Okay, I'm not here to slander Umar. Let's just make that clear. I'm not here to slander Umar or to tell the truth about Umar. I'm not here to do that. But either way it go, the moral of the story while we're here today, King Randall made a statement. I want to play the quote for you. And black people came at him. Negroes is mad, as he said. Negroes is mad. And the quote that he made, or the statement that he made, was verbatim right out of the mouth of Malcolm X. Malcolm X made the same exact quote he did, but Negroes want to cancel him for it. They're trying to cancel him. They're trying to come at him. He had to do a formal video response because they mad. And then he showed it and proved it that the quote that he made is pretty much, give or take, identical to what Malcolm X said. So we're going to get into that and a number of things. We also want to piggyback on the last conversation that I had with Hood Conservative. It kind of flew off the rails a little bit, but we're gonna piggyback on that. We got a number of things on the table today, so strap on in. Hood Conservative just made it into the back. Strap on in. Let's get ready to go. Where's the intro? Let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
All right, what's up? What's going on, everybody? Shout out to everybody in the building. Do appreciate each and every one of you for coming on through. Shout out to JC in the building, Freedman's Journal. Who else we got in here? Clay, shit. Y'all know I can't see nothing. Let me make that zoom in. Okay, what did that say? Clay Bisbee 704 in the building. The Clue Channel in the building. Shout out to David Olerking II. Shout out to Cafe 702. Shout out to who else we got in here? Holden Middich in the building. Freeman's Journal once again says King Randall built a school. Umar is running an actual grift. Period. I don't even know where he's at on that whole thing that you just called a grift. I don't know. I do understand. Last I knew, he had a building. Somebody asked him how was he going to pay the teachers, and he got real uncomfortable. And that was the last I heard on his school. That was the last I heard on it. Shout out to Omega Dreads. Shout out to Survival. Says, did you hang around for that entire Capcom debate yesterday? I have no idea what you're talking about there, but he's talking to Freeman's Journal. But shout out, before I even get things going, before I bring up Hood Conservative, shout out to Cafe 702, says support Black male media. Support Black male media. Do appreciate support Black. Okay, something was blocking that. Support Black male media text. Like that you put the tax on there. I like that. I digs that. But all right, shout out to you. Appreciate you putting 5 on it. Appreciate you putting 5 on it. I don't got RM in the back today, so I'm sitting here fumbling. Thank you for putting 5 on it. All right. Shout out to you. Appreciate you. And we are joined, as stated before, by Hood Conservative. Welcome aboard. Mic check.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on? I sent you an email letting you know that the other thing that you sent me, you never emailed me back on that. I was like, hey, that got to be the lead off the King Randall thing. So I just
I figured we would just do that. I was already good with that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't know if you
because I sent it at the tail end. I sent it at the tail end, and it kind of like would it's a part of the conversation, but it would be better if we let off with something, because that's like a hot thing right now on Black Twitter. And it's so weird that the way Twitter works, like you can block people or whatever, and I had no idea that the person he's beefing with blocked me like preemptively. So I never even interacted with Yvette Carnell on Twitter. But apparently he's beefing with Yvette Carnell, who's like, the 8-0 thing with her and Tone Talks, I think. And so I'm trying to see what the drama is, and I can't even see what the hell Yvette Carnell is mad about because she got me blocked. I'm like, oh, damn, ain't this a bitch?
Hey, if somebody got you blocked and you've never even interacted with them, you doing something right. You've never pulled up on her Twitter and talked some shit, or have you?
Not once, not even, because like I don't always like go places where I know I'm not welcome, so I don't typically just go start in trouble with the pro-blacks or whatever. And she's just one of the people who never even made it onto my radar to go fuck with anyway.
That is interesting. That means you've your little channel, the little voice that you got is out there in the airwaves, making some waves. If the people at the top of the pro-black pyramid is looking down and saying, "Ooh, let me preemptively block him before he make his way over here." that's good, man. That's good.
It's a weird extension of a conversation that you were kind of in on it as well the other day, but I was really, really touching in on this thing on my channel. And then shout out to Citizen Lou, because we've been talking about Black conservatives pretty much like for a week or so. And I know specifically Lou did a stream one night, and he was just like saying the problem with Black conservatives. And honestly, the stream was a little off schedule for me, so I didn't want to get on the panel or whatever. So I listened for a little while. And then I did my own stream and responded where I was saying, this is the reason why this is the reason why right-wing talking points appeal to Black men. And so then Lou came up and we had a great conversation there. And then we had another conversation on his panel about this whole Black conservative thing. And then it was interesting to see that even with King Randall, right? And Lou's point, to his credit, Lou's point was basically that a lot of the right-wing guys, especially like in YouTube and Twitter, we're just like shit talkers and trollers, and all we do is bring up that LGBT gotcha moment stuff. And I thought it was a great moment to see that King Randall is a guy who is doing all the work. Like you just mentioned, Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson is the guy who was like, he's supposed to have a school built, and he's got these degrees. He literally is a degree on the wall. You got a piece of paper on the wall behind him, right? He's one of those guys. And he's being outdone by this young guy who basically said, you know what the problem is? You just got to roll up your sleeves and do some shit. And he did some shit. And now people are mad at him for talking about the effectiveness of actually going out there and doing some shit.
Yeah. Yep, that's wild. That is wild. I'm trying to get the video pulled up. I'm having technical difficulties with that. Well, I can still pull it up. I just can't do it in the cool way that I wanted to do it. I just have to share it and say I'm trying to upload the file. But yeah, I do want to get into it kind of early and just play his video because it's a lot of meat on the bone there. And it really speaks to the mere fact that a lot of the people, the pro-blacks, and I gotta, like I said before, I gotta figure out a name to describe what I am, and you probably fit in the same category as me as well. That you're not, you're not pro-black, but you would like to see black people progress or do better or do shit that makes sense. So when we're talking about the progression of black people, I think that we're both for it. But the people who wear the title pro-black and talk the most about blackness, like this exposes how counterproductive they are to black progression. And because here this man only committed the crime of saying something that Malcolm X said. That's all he did. He didn't say, well, he didn't look at the camera and say, well, Malcolm X once said. No, he just said it. And then they came for him. And then he held up his phone and showed the video of Malcolm X saying the same thing. It's like if the words of Malcolm X is making them cringe because they're not willing to I don't know, they're not willing to do what needs to be done. They're not willing to do what needs to be done to the point to where when they're black leaders who they have a poster of Malcolm X on their wall right now. If they have a podcast, is Malcolm X in the background somewhere in their set imagery in the background. Just like I got my logo back there, they got Malcolm X back there. But his quote about black accountability and doing what we need to do in this country and talking about how, like, I'm gonna pull the clip up. But that makes them cringe and makes them say, well, hold on, wait, no, what about the historical context and what them did to us and all that? And Malcolm X is back there on the front lines, back when it was real, actual racism. Malcolm X back then is still saying things that line up with some stuff that we would say, what King Randall was saying, and the whole works. And they came for him. So they're anti-black people progressing, as far as I'm concerned. But I got the clip right here. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get right into it. I'm very, very curious. We probably end up circling back to that. I'm very curious about what you and Citizen Lou talked about. Somebody did tell me about that stream, and Citizen Lou has a serious issue with black conservatives, and that's fine, no big deal. But I am curious to see when you say it was a good conversation. That makes me curious because a lot of times it don't be a good conversation, but I do like to hear good conversations on that front.
Well, because Lou and I are relatively friendly in these YouTube streets, so there wasn't any of that. Oh, you a coon, you a bitch ass nigga, you hate yourself. There wasn't none of that, and it was just about listen. This is one particular issue. This is what I think about the issue from a conservative, right-leaning black male perspective. These are my concerns with the issue, and then he would counter or whatever. And so it was an actual conversation. It was an exchange of ideas and opinions.
Yeah, and that's how I like it to be. I love when I hear those conversations without somebody just saying you a coon, you a sellout, you a Sambo, and all of that. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, that muddies the waters of black progression, to use that word again. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and get into this.
I gave a Malcolm X quote.
Hold on.
And people,
we got to hear his original. Yeah.
Negroes is mad.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to start it off like that. But anyway, that was funny though. Negroes is
mad.
Yeah.
Hoes mad, bro. Hoes always mad. Everywhere you go, no matter what you're doing, if you look up, you'll find hoes mad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gave a Malcolm X quote, and people thrashing me for the quote like I said it. I gave you a verbatim quote from Malcolm X about how we could do better for our communities, and here y'all go telling me about what white people have done in the past and all that stuff like that. Like it ain't 2023 right now. So I'm gonna play the clip for y'all myself. So because y'all swear I just made it up or something. Oh, Malcolm didn't say that.
If white immigrants can come to this country 50 years ago with nickels and dimes and no education, and come here and pool their little nickels and dimes and no education, and set up little stores, develop these stores into larger stores, develop this into an industry which creates job opportunities for whites. Since Lincoln was supposed to have freed the black man 100 years ago, and today the black man, according to the government economist, has spending power of $20 billion per year. We feel that with the black man spending $20 billion a year, not setting up any businesses, not creating any industry, not creating any job opportunities for his own kind, he's not in a moral position to point the finger today at the white man and tell the white man that he's discriminating against him for not giving him a job in factories that he himself set up.
Insane. But
right. Now listen.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that one thing right there, the whole moral position, because, and this is why I was sending you the other clips about Philadelphia and Chicago. Did you see the new Target in San Francisco? Like, bro, they didn't do that because of the Mexicans per se. They're doing that because black people, mostly because of the black people. And when you start to look at like the actual what's going on the ground versus what people are talking about. This is why when we ended the conversation the other day, I said, black people, we have a self-image that is radically different from how other people view us. And so that's where the whole moral position comes in. It's like you realize, while on the one hand, people are saying, we were mistreated and we demand reparations, and we're actually innocent victims. We're not the bad guys here. On the other hand, your kids are out there terrorizing people, burning down stores, burn, loot, and murder, as they call BLM. And so people are looking at this as like, well, are you innocent victims who deserve reparations, or are you the burn, loot, murder people?
How long have they been calling BLM burn, loot, murder?
Since the burning, looting, and murdering.
I've never heard that one. Wow.
It's a thing. Look it up. It's there.
Wow.
You just don't follow the white man like I follow the white man.
Okay.
Like, I try to figure out what they be talking about when niggas ain't around.
Yeah, you gotta sneak behind the door into their secret meetings. You gotta learn their secret handshakes and gestures and shit to get let behind the curtain to know about that one. Oh man, that's too funny. Burn, loot, and murder. I swear, it's my first time hearing that. This is my first time hearing that one. But shout out to who we got to hear. Black Wealth and Power in the building. He says, "Where is the convo between Hood and Lou? Where's the convo between Hood and Lou? I think it may be on Citizen Lou's stream. I'm not 100% sure." But who's ever can tell you right now?
On both our channels, actually. The conversation, the first part where he and I spoke to each other was on my channel, and then the conversation on his channel just like 2 days ago. This all happened over the last like 4 days, maybe.
Okay. Now, yeah. So let's get back into it. So he verbatim made the same quote as Malcolm X. That was basically Malcolm X was even back then, and I like how he said the moral position. Like, it's basically saying we haven't done what's necessary to even truly to rule out to rule out. We got to rule it out. We got to rule out the racism. Is what I'm trying to say. Put it like this: if we did everything that we were supposed to do, and then we still saw discrepancies, and we still saw inequities or whatever in various places, but we were doing everything that we were supposed to do. Then we can look and say, aha, here's a discrepancy that we've ruled out everything else. We can only attribute it to racism. We can only attribute it to racism, discrimination, white supremacy. We haven't even done that part to where it's like everything that qualifies as a legitimate discrepancy. When you scratch beneath the surface, there are other reasons why, there are other reasons intact why, black kids don't score as high on this standardized test, or don't get admitted into this school at the same rate, or there's other reasons why. If you just look at just the gap in income, there's other reasons why, but let's dot every I and cross every T and then go back and revisit that. But we'll find out if we dot every I and cross every T, we might even need to go back and revisit it. Because if there was, enough black businesses hiring black people, we wouldn't even be thinking about it from those perspectives. But anyway, let's go ahead and get back into it. Let's go ahead and get back into it.
I'm wrong because the quote resembles today, in my opinion. Sure, we have stuff that we've tried to do in the past. That don't mean stop. Who said I was scared? I opened the school. I ain't seen no white people come burn it down yet. I've been waiting on them to come burn it down, actually. The only people that's been trying to burn it down are the black folk.
I started the school. Ain't no white people came to burn it down. I'm probably not pausing at a bad moment. He said, I started the school. Ain't no white people came to burn it down yet. I've actually been waiting on them to come burn it down. The only people that's been trying to tear it down, is other black people. Black people who got an issue with him for whatever reason, probably because he don't tote the party line on a lot of stuff. Now he a coon. Now it's a problem. Now they're more concerned about him corrupting the minds of these young black men because he don't tote the party line than what they are concerned about these young black men being educated. Meanwhile, white people pretty damn indifferent to this man having a school. Go ahead.
Can you imagine? Because I've seen pictures of his school. It's a boarding school, like pictures he's put out on Twitter or whatever. And could you imagine? He's got like a living room with like 6 or 8 kids sprawled out, got mattresses all over the place, right? Because they need a place to live. And so all these kids in the living room sprawled out, sleeping, are just ramshackle, just thrown all over the place. It's wild. It is like a boarding school for young boys, though. It's crazy. It's like summer camp or some shit, the way they was all sprawled out. But at the same time, these little niggas is in there asleep, and he's Malcolm by the window with the M1 carbine, waiting for white folk to come burn it down. And only people outside is you niggas. That's the reality, though. It's like he's doing the work. He got the young black boys that you say, how they say, oh, you got to give back to the community. All that stepdaddy shit that we talk down on, all that community unit shit that we talk down on. He's doing the work. He's doing all the shit that y'all say needs to be done. And at the same time, he's a coon for it. It's like, do it, but don't you dare talk about how you got it done, because now you're being a coon.
Right. And it's somebody who, be in these YouTube streets by the name of Q Butter, who got a school as well. Now, he's on the pro-black side of the aisle, and kudos to him for having the schools and everything like that. And he don't get no pushback from black people. Why? Because he talks about the struggle and racism and white supremacy and all of that stuff. It's like but when you don't highlight that, when you don't talk about that, it's like, they coming for you. They out to burn it down. It's like you gotta do it, but you gotta preach their message. If you're not preaching their message, it's not enough. Shout out to Freedmen's Journal, been a member for 19 months. I gotta start doing this with the YouTube stream up more. See, I don't even be seeing stuff like that. Shout out to Freedmen's Journal, because you can't see that in StreamYard, but I can see it on YouTube. So yeah, start highlighting the long-standing members. I can't even find that quote, but I don't know. Let me get to the super chats. But shout out to Freeman's Journal. But shout out to, I think I already read this one. He says, "Where's the convo between Hood and Lou?" Shout out to they couldn't cancel Pearl. They couldn't cancel Pearl for quoting Alex Hazy. Malcolm also said, "We are Aborigine. I think he means like trying to say Aboriginal. We were on this land first." I didn't know he said that. Aboriginal to America. I didn't know he said that. That's interesting. But thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that. Thank you for putting 5 on it. And also thank you to SKC in the building. Says, Hood, what was left to say after? Would America be better if the Republicans wouldn't exist? Yes. That is blind loyalty. Wow. I think is he quoting Citizen Lou on that one?
That was, yeah, we had a fucking hilarious moment because Lou was on my channel and it was like a little bit of a panel, right? So SKC was up there and him and Lou were sort of having a moment. They were going back and forth about a particular thing, and at the very end, because SKC, I don't want to say rage quit. It was more like a victory quit, like I'm a slam dunk on you and then walk off the court and take the ball. It was a moment like that, where SKC and Lou were going back and forth, and SKC asked Lou about the Republican Party. He's like, well, since you hate the Republicans so much, do you think that it would be better if the Republican Party never existed? And Lou was like, yeah, fuck yeah. And the whole panel just started laughing and shit, because, like, the secret to that is the Republicans are the ones who were banning slavery. They were the ones who freed the slaves, right? It wasn't the Democrats. The Republicans are the ones who thought what was happening to your black ass was wrong. And so for Lou to say that, he didn't get it for a few minutes while everybody was upset. But it was like, bro, you see, this is the bullshit we be talking about. But yeah, that was a hilarious moment.
Yeah, that was. Give me 1 second. I gotta trying to send an email. Y'all know I can't do 2 things at one time. Shout out to Paul Game though. Shout out to Paul Game in the building. Says, good afternoon. Yeah, copying Freeman. And shout out to Freeman. He says, support Black Male Media. Salute BR and Hood Server. Appreciate both of y'all. Both of y'all been members for 19 months. Do appreciate y'all. Let's dig back into it. RM, check your email. Blackground Radio TV in here. I don't know why I'm reading this one. I just can't stop. LOL, stop revisionist history. The parties have changed since. This is why no one takes talk serious. The parties changed. Did they really? Segue.
I think that's revisionist history, honestly. I really do think, because, I learned that in school. That was the point I was going to bring up about Q Butter real quick. Let's go back 1 second. And shout out to Q Butter. There's nothing personal against him, but this is just my suspicion to add to the argument about why he doesn't get any flack, because he's also teaching the kids all the pro-black knowledge, if you want to call it that. And so he's part of their cause in a certain way. So he's not going to get flack, right? But as it pertains to teaching the kids, I don't think that when I heard in school that the party switched, I don't actually think that's true. I really don't. I think that's revisionist history in and of itself. But let's continue.
All right. Little Big Nate said he'll come up and explain that. Yeah, hold your thought on that. Let's get through this, and then we'll probably circle back to that, because that is an interesting topic.
And all these excuses y'all got. Well, we tried to turn it down, yeah, because the quote resembles today, in my opinion. Sure, we have stuff that we've tried to do in the past. That don't mean stop. Who said I was scared? I opened the school. I ain't seen no white people come burn it down yet. I've been waiting on them to come burn it down, actually. The only people that's been trying to burn it down are the black folk. And all these excuses y'all got, well,
doesn't that kind of run parallel also with Black YouTube, where it's like black people be on here talking, speaking their mind, saying what they got to say. The white man ain't coming trying to burn down none of their channels. Hell, Nick Fuentes is banned on all social media platforms. But the only people who be flagging and trying to dox and tear other black people's channels down is other black people. That's
Yo, it's so funny. Like I was thinking about all the links I sent you today, and now I think I might actually have some time today, so I might do a follow up stream after we're done here. But I'm definitely going to do this stream tonight at some point. Are we? That meme? I think it's from like Monty Python, where it's the two Nazi guys and they got their Nazi uniforms and they're talking about all this stuff, and they look down. It's like, wait a minute, are we the baddies? And so I kind of want to address that question. Are we the bad guys?
That's funny. Oh man. Let's go.
We tried. Y'all ain't trying nothing now. Y'all sitting up here typing. That's what you're doing. Your kids in the neighborhood can't read. You won't go take none of them to go mentor them and go read with them during the week. You got kids next door to you right now that can't read. What's stopping you from going to knock on the door and make friends with their parents and reading with them every day and figuring things out and trying to mentor them and help them? If everybody in their community, at least one person in everybody in their communities could try to do something. If every man was responsible for at least one child that's not his, we would be further. But no, y'all got all this energy to come type under my Instagram comments.
Now, there's some issues with that, but we're gonna keep it moving. If every person in the community was responsible for one kid that's not his, I mean, you see, yeah, one. I think Fantastic and King Randall. We ain't gonna spend too much time on this because I support what the brothers are doing. But one thing that him and Fantastic got into is I think it had something to do with. I gotta ask Fantastic about that. It got something to do where there's a lot of conservatives, a lot of black male conservatives, and this kind of came out. Well, no, this actually came out in the discussion when Ben Shapiro kind of clapped back or clapped at Myron for something that Myron said. It's like their mind is in the right place. They say a lot of the right things, but they are blue pill. They are blue pill. Some of them, but that's a whole nother discussion and a whole nother debate. And I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole, but I'll be remiss if I didn't stop and point out that a lot of times, it could be easily missed that sort of feeds into the problem of more kids being raised in that situation where they need somebody to come and help and mentor and do this and do that because there's so much, help, or I would say enabling of that predicament when everybody is coming to help it, when it should be, should be man, woman, child instead of woman, child, community. Woman, it should be man, woman, child instead of. Oh no, wait, mute up real quick. I'm hearing a little background, but it should be man, woman, child instead of woman, child, collective. That's so. So what he said kind of teetered on the edge of that, but we gonna let it pass because this is a good brother doing the work. We gonna let that one pass. But anyway, go ahead. Oh damn, he just logged off. All right, what did Black Ground do to get timed out? What did Black Ground do to get time out? Why y'all kicking people in the Spartan pit? Omega just a weird. Okay, he said Omega just a weirdo. Yeah, you come in here calling people weirdos. I normally reserve the Spartan kick for when we block somebody or kick somebody from the panel, but when Black Ground get timed out, we can go ahead and pull up the Spartan kick. Oh, go ahead. You got it. Go ahead and pull up the Spartan kick. We're both trying to do it at the same time. Go ahead, RM.
This is madness. This is Sparta.
All right, we kicked them in there. We normally reserve that for when somebody is blocked for good, because you go down into that pit, you don't come back. But all right. But anyway.
I wanted to say something. Yeah. That last point you were just making, that actually came up. So when I was on Lou's panel, Gabe A was up there, and that point about like government programs sort of stepping in to take the role of fathers, I addressed that issue, not quite in that term of like, replacing the father. I didn't quite bring that up, but I pointed out that it's one of my what makes me uncomfortable about all these government social programs is that they just become like a jobs program for people, and they don't necessarily solve the problem per se. Like, the problem isn't that this little kid can't read. The problem is more likely that the environment doesn't produce kids that can read. And so by, having a program that teaches this one kid out of maybe 12, you might teach one or two kids how to actually, do whatever the goals are that you set out for yourself. You as a program aren't really attacking the actual problem. And so you wind up saving the community for 50 years. Like you spend 50 years saving the community. And I'm like, well, bro, we've been saving the community all this time. Maybe the programs aren't working. And so that was kind of like one of the points of contention that came up. Is like, I just don't believe in these social programs because, like you said, ultimately they're trying to replace the family. And, that's just one of the left versus right approaches to things.
Yep. Instead of man, woman, child is woman, child, collective, woman, child, community, woman, child, yeah. That don't get it done. But all right, let's go back to let's go back to King Randall. There it is. Had something. All right, I'm back. Sorry.
Trying to mentor them and help them. If everybody in their community, at least one person in everybody in their communities could try to do something. If every man was responsible for at least one child that's not his, we would be further. But no, y'all got all this energy to come type under my Instagram comments about how I'm leaving out history and we got this burned down and that burned down. Bro, go do something now. Period. Y'all.
Facts. Big facts on that one. And listen, it needs to become ingrained into the brain of Black people. When they say things got burnt down, Black Wall Street got burnt down, it never gets mentioned that it got built back up. They never start calling it Black Wall Street until after it got rebuilt back up the second time. What killed it? What killed it is the white man's ice in his greener grass. The white man's colder ice in his greener grass. They wanted when desegregation, when they was able to go buy, from white people, they stopped buying from Black people, and then that's what burned it down.
I never heard that before. So technically, Black Wall Street was never burned down because there was no Black Wall Street until after the race war, let's call it that. There was a race riot or whatever. So that's interesting. I never heard it that way before. Technically speaking, Black Wall Street was never actually burned down. How about that?
I mean, they start calling it Black Wall Street after it got burned down. So, I mean, after it got built back up. And okay, and I heard two different accounts. One account, they say that, without no government spending, it got built back up. And then on another account, I say, I mean, okay, it was a lot of different things in different areas. Some people did go to the government, and some people did win their case. So, but either way it got built back up. But Black businesses or Black Wall Street, I mean, it wasn't just one place. I mean, it was a lot of different places where they had, communities like that. And yeah, they started to crumble after desegregation. Yeah, that's when it started to crumble. So they burned it down as if that's a legitimate threat today. I mean, and I ain't even trying to go all the way to, you don't mind, because hell, it's happening now. It's baked into the cake of the show, because we're going to be showing clips of who's burning shit down today. Who's tearing up businesses today. We're going to show that. Now, fortunately, you can have insurance. And you could, you can get that back, but still, we got videos of how they out rioting and tearing shit down. We got the videos of that. That's happening right now. So it's like, no, that I don't want to hear that they burned it down stuff. And and I don't know how that would be even an excuse. I've said it once, I said it again. This little studio here that I'm sitting in is worth more burned to the ground than what it is up. I'm getting all that insurance money, and you better believe I got $100,000 worth of equipment in here in the event that this ever get burned down. I mean, damn it, let me not be on the record saying this on sitting here snitching on myself before. But let this thing get burned down. You better believe I got $20,000. No, okay, let me not say that. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All right. Let's let's get back into it. Well, real quick before I get all the way back into it, the Clue channel in the building. Hold on, the Clue channel in the building with $5 super chat. He says, BR, can you do a short explaining the truth about Black Wall Street? You know what? Yeah, I need to do that. That's a good idea. Write that one down for me and send me a email reminder or something, because I'm going to forget. But yeah, I will do a short and make a whole little slideshow presentation and everything. Make it look cute. Hopefully it go viral. But all right, let's get into it. Let's get into it.
Also scared. Y'all defeated before y'all even start. Listening to y'all, to come type under my Instagram comments about how I'm leaving out history and we got this burned down and that burned down. Bro, go do something now. Period. Y'all so scared. Y'all defeated before y'all even start. Listening to y'all, I would never do nothing either. Y'all are nuts. I'm glad I never listened to y'all, because these Black children that are being successful right now and whose moms are being helped right now would never be helped listening to folk like y'all. Oh, you better not start no school because white folks just gonna burn it down. And then y'all made being pro-Black just opposition to white folks now. Like, if anybody white agree with anything you say, then you a coon. Like, bro, like your ideas aren't universally all Black people gonna agree. No, bro. Everybody's not gonna agree with everything you say. Some white people are gonna like what you say. It just is the game. Pro-Black is not anti-white. That just means you want Black people to succeed. And us succeeding is not making excuses all the dang time. Like, we understand crap has happened. Let's move. We have to move. They want for us to sit. And you think white folks mad that you're talking about history? No, they want you to keep worrying about where you used to be. They want to remind you that you got your butt whipped. Actual racist white people do want to remind you that. Yeah, they want you to keep remembering what they did to you so you can never go do nothing. Racist white people don't like people like me, because I'm going to tell Black folk to go do something anyway. They like people like you that's going around telling Black people they can't be successful because all white people going to do is burn it down. And you better not do nothing because white people going to stop this. And you better not do nothing because white people going to stop that. No, they like Black people like you. They like y'all pro-Blackers that talk about white folks all day. They love y'all. They don't like me. Yeah, white liberals, they hate me. Because I'm going to tell Black folk, nah, we finna go open this up on our own. No, we're going to create warriors out of our men. Come try and burn this down if you want to. I'm teaching them about gun rights and how to defend themselves and self-defense and martial arts and all that. They scared of that. They scared of the military age Black man. They ain't scared of you 30 and 40-year-olds out here making 1,000 excuses about why our communities ain't successful because of something that happened 70 years ago. Oppression affects people differently, and wealth gap this and wealth gap that and this gap and that gap. I don't care about no gaps. It's there. Now, what can we do to move? Acknowledge your problems, go and fix them. Not sit and wallow in defeat. Y'all defeated already. We got grown men out here defeated. Don't make no dang sense. How you grown man out here ain't got no balls to go stand up to somebody? We had leaders out here die for what we want. Y'all won't die for your causes now? Where our balls went? Racist white people love Black folk like y'all that ain't got no balls. They don't like people like me that's willing to go do something anyway and talk against you Negroes that want to call me a coon. Insane. But that's the game.
All right. I've heard him talk before. I never really knew he was that damn country. But no, good stuff. Good stuff. Definitely loving that. Definitely loving that, what we just heard right there. I saw. Okay. Boss Cowboy Sports says this is called super uninformed. And he goes on to say he need to look at the Florida policies. He needs to look at the Florida policies. If you have something to say on this, you are definitely more than welcome to come up and participate in the stream. The link will be in the chat momentarily, and you can come up and have your say on this. You can come up and have your say on this. The link is always in the chat for anyone who has any disagreement. The link is always in the chat for anyone who has disagreement. We do got some things we got to get to, so we're not going to put that link in the chat right now at this moment, but it will be in there soon. It will be in there soon. So you can bet your bottom dollar on that. The link will be dropped soon. The link will be dropped soon. Dang C in the building says Booker T. Washington visited Greenwood on his way to an all-black town. He called it Negro Wall Street of America, which evolved into Black Wall Street. Thank you for adding to the history. adding a little more. We was talking about the history of Black Wall Street. Thank you for adding that to the fray. Thank you for adding that to the fray. Hood server just dropped down. I can see him down there in the chat room. I can see him down there in the chat room. Come on back. We got to be getting into a number of things. About to be getting into a number of things. It looks like SoCast just sent a $1.49 super chat. Just sent a $1.49 super chat. Do appreciate that. Do appreciate that. Hold up. No, I'm trying to find there we go.
Wait a minute. What's this? This ain't enough. Make it enough.
For the $1 super chat. And thank you, Dane C, for dropping. Thank you. Everyone who supports the stream. Now, while I wait for Hood Servative to come back, I will pull up some of the Blackground TV saying, so you were wrong, Bernard. It was Black Wall Street before it was burned down. Okay. Wait a minute. No, because he didn't give a date or time when he said, who did he say walked through there? What did he say? And he said Booker T. Washington visited Greenwood. He didn't say when. He didn't say if he visited before or after. He didn't say at the date or time. If I was wrong about that they didn't call it Black Wall Street until after he got built back up, then that's fine. That's fine. Still don't negate the larger point. The bigger point is that, yes, it got burnt down, and yes, it got built back up. In some places, it got built back up without any government dollars. In some places, some people went to the court and they fought and petitioned, and they got it. They got it built back up through the government. Either way it go, the fact of the matter is it did get built back up. That's just the fact of the matter. And Dane C is saying it was before it burned down. Okay, I'll accept that correction. And maybe wherever I got my information from, maybe it was misinformed. Maybe either y'all were misinformed or the place where I got my information from was misinformed. But okay, that's a non-consequential point. It will be an interesting point, but it doesn't change the overall gravity of what I was saying. The point still remains the same. It was burned down, it was built back up, and it was thriving and running, but then it slowly fell apart after the civil rights legislation was passed and everything was desegregated, and then black people can go get the white man's colder ice, and then black businesses started to crumble. That part is still true, and that is an important part. So I think it's arguing non-consequential tidbit details to deflect from the reality of the actual problem. That nobody prevented black businesses, and nobody's preventing it right now. Black people spending their dollars with white people. That's it. John Leguizamo just went viral talking about the overall spending power of the Latino community in America. If it was its own country, it would have like the 8th largest GDP or something like that. Like, black people got the same metrics. Black people got the same metrics. That's all the point that I'm making. That's all the point that I'm making. Dancy says it was burnt down beforehand. But thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that. Do appreciate
These
it.
last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
All right. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Oh, okay. There go Hood Servative making his comeback. Making his comeback. All right. All right. Any closing thoughts you want to say on the King Randall part? We are going to transition. To another part. There's a Don Lemon video here. A Don Lemon video wrapped into this. That's interesting and somewhat related. I won't even say somewhat related. It's related. And I'm going to pull that up right now. I'm actually trying to get it on deck right now. Let's see. Are you there? Let's get a mic check on you because you was having some difficulties. Mic check on Hood Servative.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back. I'm driving right now. It's going through a crazy area.
Yeah, I figured as much. Oh yeah, RM definitely answered that question. Anthony Reed asked what was the name of the song on the intro, and I didn't know, and she ascertained that information. So by all means, give it to him. Put that in the chat room because I don't know the name of my intro song. Dane C in the building with another one. Dane C in the building with another one says, even rebuilt Black Wall Street was never the same. How do you know that? Send me info on that. Send me info on that. But thank you for the $2 super chat. Do appreciate that. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Do appreciate that. All right, let's get into this video.
That war was fought for Black people to have freedoms in this country. Yeah. Actually, that's why the Civil War was fought. Okay. And the sad part about it, fought for Black people to have guns. I think. Actually, you know, funny fact is Black people did not get to enjoy the other freedoms until their Second Amendment rights were secured. And I think that that's one of the lessons that we learned. Aren't allowed to enjoy the freedoms. I disagree with you on that, Don. I disagree with you. And I think you're doing a disservice to our country by failing to recognize the fact that we have equality before the law. And you live in this country, then you can disagree with me, but we're not. You mentioned that we have three different shades. Don, I think we have to be able to talk about these issues in the open, regardless of the color of our skin. Black Americans today, to say that, compare that to 1865.
Real quick, we got to stop real quick. Let's.
Oh yeah. I was waiting on you.
No, I was muted up. I didn't even realize you couldn't hear me. Who has more freedom than a rich gay Black man right now? I mean, we're talking about freedoms. Who has more who can compare with the freedom of a rich gay Black man? I mean, look, think about the freedom a rich gay Black man has. You can marry and fuck white supremacy at the same damn time. That's freedom.
What do you mean, fuck white supremacy?
His husband white. He got white husband.
So you're saying because he's okay, and I hate to say this without throwing
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna say this without throwing up in my mouth. So you're saying because he's literally bending over a white man, assuming that he's not the one bending. Okay, see, that's why I didn't want to talk about it. But okay, so because
maybe they do that to each other. Like, why are we assuming? Don't make assumptions. Maybe it's a mutual pegging. Who knows? The whole point is he's fucking white supremacy and fighting it at the same damn time.
Oh man. Okay, well let me sidestep that. It's not about him and how free he is. He's speaking up for his people. And you, a straight Black man, you are his people. And he's defending you and all of Black people by saying that we got it bad here in this country and we don't enjoy the same rights and liberties. And even though he's rich,
I just hold on, Bernard, before you go down this road, I just want to say as a preface, he is not fucking nor fighting white supremacy on my behalf. All right. I just want people to get that on. Like, I don't want there to be any confusion about who he's doing what for. No, this has nothing to do with me.
He's fighting for you, Hood. That's who he's up there fighting for. He's fighting for you and all of us. But no, but so let's you made me forget what he even said. But but let's try to break down.
No, the thing about we don't have freedoms, that's what it was talking about. Like, he was really trying to say, and this is funny because it's two brown, basically. It's a brown versus a black. And the brown is telling the black, you have all the freedoms that you complain about.
Yeah. And see, and he don't even realize. Yeah, that's it's some layers into that. Because I know Don Lemon is one of those, black and brown people of color, is saying, I know he's one of the ones that gets into that shit, but here it is, a brown person who never uses the term brown and black people in this country are experiencing such and such. He advocates for his people. Black people are the ones that always lump in theyself and everybody else's shit. But so it is an interesting dynamic where, two minorities, one of them is saying that, nah, we good. In the black one, the rich gay black one is basically saying, oh, no, nobody's good. Nobody's good. We don't have opportunities. We don't have a chance. We blah, 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 blah. That is an interesting dynamic in the conversation. And we start to see that a lot. We see that a lot with the tethers, as they call them, the non-FBA. We see those discussions happening, and we see and we're starting to see it with Hispanics or Latinos or whatever they are. But yeah, so interesting dynamic there.
Well, real quick though, he is neither Spanish nor Latino. You understand that, right? He's not a Spanish nor he's Latino. His name is Vivek Ramaswamy. Okay, so just figure that part out. That is not a Latin Christian name.
Okay, so yeah, I have no idea what he is. I just
South Asia somewhere, 7-Eleven.
He looked Mexican to me, but okay, I'll go with.
Well, he's a 7-Eleven Mexican. He's not like a taco Mexican.
Okay, I'll go with it.
Different shades. Don, I think we have to be able to talk about these issues in the open, regardless of the color of our skin. Black Americans today, to say that, compare that to 1865 and 1964, I think you to compare it to 1865 and 1964 is actually, I think it's insulting to black people. It's insulting to me as an African American. I don't want to sit here and argue with you because it's infuriating for you to put those things together. It's not right. Your telling of history is wrong. What part of the history was wrong? What part of the history was wrong? That the Civil War was fought. You're making people think that the Civil War was fought for black people, only for black people to get guns and for black people to. The Civil War was fought for black people in this country to get freedoms, a noble mission. And I think that even after we succeeded, we had to actually secure those freedoms. To reduce it in a speech at the NRA to say you're making people think, or you're trying to say that black people. To get guns, that was the reason that you're there at the NRA. That was the reason for the Civil War. I think that's reductive. It's not reductive. I think it's insulting. There are a whole plethora of reasons that for the Civil War. With due respect, I find your explanation reductive and actually insulting, including to black Americans, to say that black people today, compared to 1964, 1865, haven't made progress in part because of the freedoms we.
All right, now this is an interesting dynamic. I'm just reading what's on the screen. I plead ignorance. Hood sent me this clip, so I'm new learning this. These are things I should know. So I'm pleading some ignorance. But okay, on the screen says 2024 race. GOP presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy, whatever his name is. I think somebody properly clocked what country, where he's from or what he is in the chat room. I just saw it, but here's the deal. We're talking about a presidential candidate who's, as they say, a person of color. He's kind of going pretty gangster. He's going full gangster with his, full court press or defense or whatever. He is. And, white Republicans they still, in my opinion, walk on eggshells when it comes to having the conversation. They basically punt because they just like, hey, I'm not going to get that much of the black vote either way, so I might as well not piss off a bunch of people too, because there's some white people in the middle that who might vote for me, that I don't want them to not vote for me because they think I'm racist. So I can't say this and I can't say that. So I can't even have a real conversation, because they're legit having a real conversation. And the interesting dynamic with him being, we got a presidential candidate who's having the real conversation about race, and it can never happen. It can never happen. The closest that we had was Donald Trump, but he just he a wild card and a firecracker. He just gonna say a bunch of shit that's gonna, it's like, but it won't be a focused conversation with Donald Trump. It's just, he just shoot from the hip, but
Trump will say some shit that's like bold but a little awkward. It's like, the blacks are always doing better under me. He's like, wait, huh? What? That sounds kind of racist when you put it that way.
It's like, so he will have the conversation, but it's kind of disconjointed when he do it. But here's the president.
Well, the thing about this clip, real quick.
Go ahead.
The thing about this clip that this is why I wanted to talk about it. What made it sort of go viral is the brown versus black element to it, right? And see, for your quote white Republican, the race card is kryptonite. Like, you really have to be skillful and have some balls to actually not back down in front of the race card. And so what happens in this moment is, this motherfucker played. It was like the illest Yu-Gi-Oh battle. This motherfucker played the race card, and the other brown nigga pulled out the hold up nigga trap card, and it was like, wait, this shit is over. This duel is done. All right, your race card is nothing compared to my POC Exodia. Like, this motherfucker just totally rejected the whole race card, and it kind of made him look dumb.
Yeah. But see, the thing is, I think to the average black listener, he wasn't made to look dumb. I think to the average black person, he wasn't made to look dumb. That's how it is, depending on which side of the aisle you're on, depending on how you view things in terms of race, in terms of America, in terms of capitalism, in terms of so many different things, you will perceive something different. Like, somebody could be making sense, but all people are going to hear is just racism. So it's really hard to get around it. I don't know if you noticed, I was just recently watching the Larry Elder video where he kind of hinted at possibly running for president too. I don't think he'll win, but I want him to do it just so I can hear more conversations like this with Larry Elder. And
I can already tell you, I'm not going to be boosting Elder at all this year. I saw a clip from Larry Elder. He's got a long way to come back from. But basically, he thinks it's okay for the T's to use whatever bathroom they want. That's a deal breaker for me. I don't care how much of a black Republican you are. That is a deal breaker.
He said it's okay for the trans folks to use whatever bathroom they want.
Yeah. This is like an old clip. It was a couple years ago, but once you say you're going to run for president, people start going through your Rolodex and shit you said. And so I saw that clip and I was like, oh, damn. It's been nice knowing you, Larry.
I want to watch the clip. If you find the clip, send it to me.
All right, I got to look back for it. I didn't save it, but I'll find it for you.
Because I've heard some people punt on that one, but some people look at it from the perspective of, okay, if somebody has done the full thing in their, a dude walking around, right, then had some surgeries, been on the thing, just full presenting as a woman in a dress, then some people have been like, okay, do you want him going in the men's bathroom, just full high heels and dress and everything? It's like, some people, I've heard people, I've heard a lot of people for a lot of different reasons, waver on that one. Where it gets goofy is when somebody just simply saying, yeah, I'm trans. Yeah. Full deep. Yeah, I'm trans. And just walking into the girl's bathroom. I mean, it's a stupid ass thing It's a stupid ass thing, but I want to hear the clip. I want to hear the argument laid out. I want to hear the argument laid out. Just put it like that. I want to hear the argument laid out. All right. Yeah. Damn it. I don't want to. Yeah. It's like I don't want to be disappointed. I don't want to be disappointed. Come on, Larry. I want to see Larry Elder in this chair arguing with Don Lemon. I want to see it. That's all I'm saying. All right.
Secured. And the Second Amendment was
Black
part of
people,
what
hang on, please. I cannot keep a thought if you guys are talking to me in my ear. So
oh wait, that's interesting. Now we already know that when they be on those shows, they feed is somebody in his ear feeding him information. You know, that's sort of part of the stereotype of the talking heads, that they're not that smart. They don't know nothing. Somebody smarter than them is in their ear, basically feeding them stats, facts, and counterpoints. And he's basically telling them, I can't have the conversation if y'all are in my ear talking to me. like shut the fuck up so I can talk to this man.
Well, I could imagine that the people in his ear are telling him, get to the chopper. Like, bro, you in danger. Get out of there. Go to commercial, bro. Go to commercial. We'll clean this up on the next break.
Yeah.
Hang on one second. So to say that black people, say what you said again.
Black people secured their freedoms after the Civil War. It is a historical fact, Don. Just study it. Only after their Second Amendment rights were secured.
They were not secured their freedoms after the Civil War. That is not, you are discounting Reconstruction. You're discounting a whole host of things that happened after the Civil War when it comes to African Americans, including the whole reason that the Civil Rights Movement happened is because black people did not secure their freedoms after the Civil War, and that things turned around. People tried to change the freedoms that were supposed to happen.
And you know how they got it? They got their Second Amendment rights, and they actually got the NRA played a big role in that. But today, down the
NRA did not play a big role in that.
They trained black Americans how to use firearms.
That's a lie. That's not. The NRA did not play a big role.
This is just historical fact. But
down the
part that I find,
because you say it's historical fact,
the part that I find insulting is when you say today black Americans don't have those rights after we have gone through civil rights revolution in this country.
You are sitting here telling an African American about the rights and what you find insulting about the way I live, the skin I live in every day.
Here's where you and I have
the
a different point of view.
Black and white that black people don't have in this country, and that black people do have.
Well, here's where you and I have a different point of view.
Real quick.
We should be able to express our.
I suspect, because one, if you were to ask a black person, it's sort of like the feminism question. If you were to ask a black person, like, what actual right, at least on paper, because rights exist on paper, what right is it that you don't have that other people do? I think you'd be hard pressed to find a real answer. But for Don, I think he wants the right to be as gay as he can imagine, and we're holding him back. We are holding him back from his full gay potential, and that's oppression. That's a crime.
We're hearing from SKC in the chat room that Vivek, the brown gentleman speaking to Don Lemon, wrote a book called, I believe he's talking about a book that was written called Woke Inc. Well, I think I've heard that. Yeah, I heard of that book. Woke Inc. He says it's pretty good. So very well. All right. Let's see. This is almost, it's about 30 more seconds of this. Well, about 25 more.
Our views, regardless of the color of our skin. We should have this debate.
I'm not saying you
without me regarding you as a black man,
insulting that
but
you're
me regarding you
here,
as a fellow citizen.
That you're
That's what I
sitting
think
here, whatever ethnicity you are, explaining to me
whatever ethnicity
about what it's like to be black.
That's funny. You're sitting here, whatever ethnicity you are, explaining to me what it's like to be a black man. That's funny.
Whatever ethnicity I am, I'll tell you what I am. I'm an Indian
That was
American.
like Don's version of who you. I was like Don Lemon saying, "Yo, who you, nigga?"
Whatever ethnicity I am, I'll tell you what I am. I'm an Indian American. I'm proud of it. But I think we should have this debate. Black, white, doesn't matter.
I think we should have this
on
debate.
The content of the ideas.
If you're going to do it, you should do it in an honest way and in a fair way. And what you're doing is not an honest and fair way.
All right. Yeah, there's that. Yeah, it was a lot there.
What was dishonest about that, right? But see, Vivek made one particular claim. If you could really boil that clip down into one conflict, it was the NRA somehow helped black people in our civil rights quest, right? That was the gist of what he was saying. He basically said the NRA taught people how to use weapons. You can research that. That is something that would be documented. So I'm not saying it's true or not, but I think it would be very bold of him to go out there and tell that lie, knowing you could easily look it up. That's not typically what you get from guys on the right.
Yeah, and it's weird that one claim should turn into a discussion about the validity of that claim, not a discussion of black people don't have rights in this country. It's like it shouldn't spiral to that. That's all I'll say. It just shouldn't spiral to that. And that was sort of where it went, and that was sort of what happened, and that's sort of the game. That's sort of the game, and that's how it goes with those discussions. But no, that was interesting. But we are an hour and 10 minutes into this thing. I will drop the link. We'll actually start putting the link in the chat. But you did have also, baked into the clips.
We still didn't do Chicago, Target, or San Francisco. Like when I was telling you the other day that you were doing a stream about Chicago specifically, but this is a national trend. This is a black trend.
Yeah, because you sent me the clips. I mean, you sent me the clips. I'm like looking at them right now. Like we got, excuse me. Yeah, so we got Chicago, we got Philly, Ohio.
See, Ohio is different. Ohio is just a dumb nigga, but it's in context.
Oh, wait,
they protested in Ohio too.
Yeah, wait, hold on a second. Let me. Okay, so we was talking about Chicago yesterday. This is Philly. This is Philly right here. This look literally how it looked after George Floyd. This look literally how it looked after George Floyd. Give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Drop that banner from in the way of the screen. And real quick while I wait for you to do that. Oh, you did it quick. Okay, cool. Salty Balls just passing through. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday, brother. Absolutely says happy Saturday. Salty Balls. Thank you for the super chat. That's the artist formerly known as Dusty Nuts. I told him he needed to change the name, and he changed it to Salty Balls. He's not. Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. This is Philly, and here it goes. I can already tell I might have to edit this out because this is more than likely copyrighted music. Damn you, Twitter people.
I mean, it plays fine without the sound. It plays fine without the sound, but the music does fuck it up because they talking crazy in it.
Yeah. I wanted to hear they do say some crazy stuff, but yeah, we can go ahead and do it. We can go ahead and do it like that. We can just observe and watch. White people, white lady, big white lady running too. Hey, right there, that was another non-black person. Somebody, damn it, I want to play the music because a chick did say something about shout out to my Indian brother or something like that. The chick said something like that. Like it was like, hey, you were here, you one of us. Yeah, it's like you at the cookout. It was like one of those type of things. It was like one of those type of deals. Oh, that's what you said. My Somalian brother. It's like we good now. We cool. We normally have racial angst, and stuff towards each other, but we gonna unite in this looting. We gonna unite. We all one people. We are the world. We are the children. Yes, we uniting under this looting. I'm going and drop the music though. And it's funny when you know.
It's funny you
Oh, go
say
ahead.
that because I think that is one of like the issues that like Native blacks have against the immigrants. It's like, how come y'all don't do the nigga shit with us? And it's like, they just not on that. They got a different type of time.
Dude looked like he was still in a vacuum and some bath towels. Like that's like damn, what was it? No PlayStation 5s or nothing in there? Like shit. Like you still in a damn a carpet cleaner? Like, okay, I mean
Well, one, I mean, he probably ain't the first person in there, right? It's not like it was freshly looted. Like he probably got there late. Niggas always showing up late.
oh, the niggas show up late to loot. They gotta walk out with necessities. Damn it. I missed all the I want stuff. Now let me just figure out what I need. Okay, we do need a vacuum.
Might as well get some drawers and some socks while you're in there. Shit.
Yeah. That's legit. That's legit. You need some fresh drawers, some socks, a damn vacuum, fucking, a microwave. It's like little things that you don't have that you need that would really help out, So I understand that. Get some Tupperware, nigga. Get some Tupperware. Yeah, all day. Get some Tupperware, a few pots and pans. You know how the kids always throwing away the forks and knives and stuff when they scrape and like I just recently had to restock on spoons and forks. I think my kids just be throwing them away when they rake their plate. So yeah, going to get you some spoons and forks and some spatulas and the little things you need. The little things you need. Yeah, I see you down there, Body Thug. A nice 10-pack of soap. A 10-pack of soap. Like get the stuff you need. Get the stuff you need. But all right. All right. Let me look at this super chat. Black wealth was lost when all the banks in Black Wall Street was burnt down. They didn't get any money from the government or private banks to rebuild. I've heard conflicting stories on that. I've heard some stories that they did partition the government and they got some money back and they rebuilt. And I've heard that they rebuilt it without any money from the government. However, one thing that's been consistent is that they rebuilt. That is the consistent thing. And another fairly consistent thing in all the accounts is sometime after integration, desegregation, those businesses started to slowly die out. That has been the fairly consistent thing. That's been a fairly consistent thing. RM, put the link. Put the link in the chat. And for those like the weird background noise, that's not when Hood Conservative is speaking. It's actually when he's unmuted and I'm speaking. That's like there's some reverb of my voice in his background going ooh. So it's like we got to really make sure we're talking one at a time. So
I just switched out to my laptop, so I think we should be good now.
Oh yeah, and you sound even better. So no, we should be good now. But all right. Now there's other videos we got of other scenes like that. In Philly, Chicago. I think he sent me another one from San Fran. I think San Francisco got in on it. That's a very peculiar place to be getting in on it too.
Well, I mean, Oakland, I think, is like San Francisco's twin city. It's like literally across the bay. That's what that big red bridge is. That big red bridge goes to the niggas. And so I think the niggas take the bridge to rob San Francisco.
Wait, hold on. You telling me the San Francisco bridge, that epic monumental bridge that we see in like Full House, when Full House is coming on? You talking about that bridge? That is that bridge, that staple in just American imagery is basically represents a bridge and body of water that separates white people and niggas.
Hold up, that's not the San Francisco. The Golden Gate Bridge, doesn't that go to Oakland? Oh, the Bay Bridge goes to Oakland. Oh, okay, it's the Bay Bridge. My bad.
Yeah, that would.
But there is a bridge.
That would ruin all my my memories and imagery of seeing that bridge. If that was the if that thing that if the bridge that Magneto lifted up in X-Men in X3, that bridge that he lifted up, that was the bridge that separated black people and white people.
That would be hilarious, though. Technically, that's what the Oakland Bridge is, though. It's like, listen, all the rich gay whites, you can have nice San Francisco, and then all you niggas, Oakland. And, you know, it was good for a while, and now it's over.
Yeah, that just changes the optics of how I view things. It just changes the optics of how I view things, if that was the case. You know, I like the imagery of that bridge. It was part of my childhood. Well, you know, and every time you watch Full House, you see that bridge. And now y'all almost had me looking at like, oh, it's just been a racial dividing line all this time. Who knew? But anyway, shout out to Black Ground Radio. He said, "You guys have to do better, Bernard. None of what that man said was true. Everything you said about Black Wall Street was wrong. Never rebuilt. No need to denigrate black people to absolve the white people. I'm not denigrating black people to absolve white people. I am trying to embolden black people to have a mentality of roll their sleeves up and build it and do it today. That's what I'm doing." But we, as what King Randall pointed out, what King Randall said in this video, even somebody who's doing it today, is getting pushback from black people because he don't attribute or credit enough, you know, talk about the struggle enough. When he's saying roll up our sleeves and do it, they're like, no, you know, what about the historical context of this and that and things that happened and it's like, no, it's counterproductive. It's counterproductive. And that's where I'm at with it. It's counterproductive, and that's where I'm at with it. But
what do we get for $10? Everything you want.
But thank you for your super chat. I do appreciate that. But all right, we got some contestants on The Price is Right here. Little Big Nate is in the building. He already got a video link that he's sharing. He came right through the video link. Let me get through my super chats. Shout out to Salty Balls, slowly becoming one of my, actually, I would probably say you're probably my biggest supporter right now. Shout out to you, man. I do appreciate you. He says, Book of Merchants 2 and 3, thine heathens have pillaged and plundered so much so that when thine vineyards and orchards become barren, they cry woeful tears and deem it a food desert. Wow. Empathy will be as empty and void as the pillagers plucked it away in thievery. Well said. Thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that. All right. We're going to go to Little Big Nate first. And welcome aboard. And you have a link shared right here. So go ahead. Before you play that, go ahead and set it up for us. What are we looking at here?
Hey, appreciate it, Bernard. Salute to Hood and the other gentleman that's up here. There was a gentleman, I believe he cashapped something about DeSantis and these anti-black laws he's passing in Florida, all these racist anti-black laws. Well, I got a clip of the NAACP, and you leftist pro-black dudes, you need to come get your uncle, because this is somebody's uncle that runs the NAACP in Florida. Nigga, just look at this nigga. This shit is hilarious.
I think I know this clip. I think I know where this is going.
You see this? This is y'all's nigga's uncle, and you need to come get him.
Seek permission from its national headquarters to issue a travel advisory for Florida. Wait News anchor Annette Montgomery joins us in the studio. And Annette, who are they encouraging to stay away? And does the NAACP believe that people will listen?
I'm sorry. I don't have premium.
Hi, I'm Charles. I'm 68 years old. And I've had a leg amputated because of...
I don't have a leg amputated.
NAACP wants every single black person to stay out of our state and to spend their money someplace else.
The NAACP wants every single black person to stay out of Florida. Let's continue.
And the organization believes if it issues such a travel advisory, millions of people will go someplace else. He's our governor now, but if it's up to NAACP leaders here in Florida like James Muwakil, Ron DeSantis will get nowhere near the presidency.
The target is directly aimed at Black people with some of the draconian laws that he's made, such as SB 90, where he's restricting vote by mail, refusing to allow
Bernard, is it playing the video?
Studies into the classroom.
You can see it?
Advanced placement.
Okay, because my
studies.
James Muwakil is the president
Drop out
of
and
the
come
Lee County
back,
chapter of the NAACP. On Saturday, he joined with other
Bernard might have
NAACP
to
leaders
drop me down.
who voted
My curse is not
unanimously
working
to ask national headquarters for
Are you
permission
trying to pause the
issue
video
travel
or something?
advisory.
Yeah,
to
I
Florida.
was trying to.
All right,
just
go-
let it play and drop me down. And Hood can comment.
This was actually a part of okay.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, this is a part of a video clip. It was a batch of clips I send you every week, and this was one of the shows I was going to pitch to you when the NAACP is saying Black people should boycott Florida. I'm like, niggas ain't boycotting Miami. Shut up.
Yeah, niggas vacation to when I put it like this, people go to Atlanta, they go to Miami. That's what Black folks do. Miami and Atlanta. That's what they do. That's what they do. Yeah, so yeah, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. But we are joined by Big Kev. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. What do you have on this topic? What do you have on this topic? You have the floor, you have the mic.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, Don Lemon in this particular case, obviously a broken clock was right twice a day. Don Lemon is actually correct on this point. You could point to the Black codes as well as the targeted lynchings of war veterans and business owners to basically say how we didn't, our rights were not fully secured at the time that the Civil War ended in 1865. So he's actually more right than Don Lemon in this case is actually more right than what we give him credit for. Unfortunately, like what Hood Conservative said.
Wait, hold on. What argument? Hold on. Wait, real quick. What argument are you?
I think you got that point a little off, sir. I think you kind of slightly off on their disagreement because Vivek, as far as I remember, he wasn't saying that we won the Civil War and everything was good. What he was saying that the war was to secure Black people's freedoms. They didn't get them all right then, and then the NRA helped to gain them for the Civil Rights Movement. But I don't know if that particular thing you brought up was the actual contention.
Okay, no, I'm saying in regards to gun rights. I'm saying no, like the gun rights were not fully secure because many of the Black codes that happened before Jim Crow segregation was specifically to disarm a lot of so-called Black people living in those southern states. So no, it wasn't fully secured, which is part of the reason why there was a push to have civil rights in the first place. Part of that was because part of Jim Crow was to unconstitutionally disarm a lot of Black Americans.
That was also part of the disagreement. If you remember, he was saying how the NRA specifically helped Black people to gain those rights by teaching them how to use firearms. So that was the contention. I think Don Lemon tried to reject that whole story. That's why I said it'd be weird for him to bring something like that up as if you couldn't just research it in 2 minutes.
Right. I understand.
Can I? I'm sorry. Can I interject?
Yeah, go ahead,
real
Big
quick?
Hold on.
You know, I'm sorry, sir. I'm real particular. White Democrats didn't want us with guns. White Democrats did not want us with guns. Not white people. White Democrats. You think the Klan, as they were terrorizing Black people, wanted Black people with guns? Well, the Klan was the enforcement arm of the Democrat Party. This is simple truth. It's irrefutable. Historical fact. If we could be specific, please, on the white people that we are charging with this type of racism. Thank you, sir.
You can carry on and continue talking.
White Democrats been trying to take niggas' guns ever since slavery, bro. That shit don't
And they're
stop.
still trying to take our guns. Thank you.
Can't stop, won't stop.
I'm done. Yeah, y'all can go ahead. I'm sorry.
But Kay, were you making an extra point beyond that?
Yeah, and then going back to what the King of Randall clip earlier, it's like, listen, and obviously I don't agree with everything King Randall says, but I mean I'm very supportive of him making that boarding school for for the boys, man. I know he was because of some type of gun charge. I hope he's able to overcome that, man. But what's I about to say? But yeah, like he did make a good point. That was actually the point that was made if you read the book Color, Communism, and Common Sense by Manning Johnson in 1958. He said part of that tactic, part of the agitation tactic of many far leftists, such as the communists or whatnot, was to engage in a perpetual infantilization of so-called black people, in regards to saying like, oh, we can't do this or we can't do that, or basically discouraging us from taking any type of initiative, to build anything for ourselves. In fact, in one of his excerpts here, let me see if I can pull it up here. Let me pull it up here. Just give me a second. Okay. He actually says here in the excerpt, he says, betrayal, hold on. Yeah, but basically what he was basically saying is that betrayal of he basically said a betrayal of the Negro people may very well come by the communists, may very well come through the Negro intellectual, because the so-called progressives, the white so-called progressives, liberals, etc., do most of the thinking for them, and basically because of the inferiority complex that a lot of them have, basically there is no immunity to any of this narrative. So when you're saying about how a lot of so-called black people with a far leftist ideology, how this like abject infantilization is a part of their tactic to grift, you're not actually incorrect. You're actually more accurate than what you think it is, because Manning Johnson was talking about this back in 1958. Because if you did any research on Manning Johnson, he was a member of a high-ranking member of the American Communist Party. And part of the reason why he wrote that book was when he basically realized that a lot of people with these like far leftist views basically saw a lot of the struggles that so-called Black Americans have as basically using it as a grift, using it as a front in order to kind of serve as basically like a communist agitator. Okay, so, but another thing that was mentioned too that I wanted to say is that, again, the reason why guys like King Randall, etc., are so controversial is because basically by them taking action and actually doing practical stuff that's actually helping out so-called Black people in America, he's indirectly discrediting most people that claim to be pro-Black, because as we're learning, on this show and with other people in the so-called Black manosphere, is that part of the reason why this space exists is because of the abject incompetence of failures of people who claim to be pro-Black, feminists, etc., and how they really use our struggle as a way to grift for sympathy and for money, as opposed to actually doing something that's practical. I mean, when you fucked up when you're more preoccupied with trans rights and whether or not defining what is a woman than you are about making sure your boys know how to read, write, and count, or stuff like when you're more preoccupied with who a so-called Black man is sleeping with, instead of making sure that that your girls don't have a bunch of processed shit in their hair. Like that's how people have fucked up priorities. And I think that's what we're basically peeling back the layers of the dysfunction with these various conversations.
Let me just throw this out there, because Bernard, earlier you mentioned how like I am somewhat pro-Black in your estimation, and you said this before a bunch of times. Me and SKC are pro-Black by definition or something. And what I think the issue is kind of like what the gentleman was just saying about their mishandling or just destroying the brand. The reason why I don't call myself pro-Black, even though I would love to see Black people succeeding and being, winners and all that stuff, right? The reason why I don't call myself pro-Black is because pro-Black is a brand. It is a specific thing. And for me, wearing pro-Black is like wearing FUBU. Like, niggas just don't do that no more.
Yeah, it's bad branding. It's bad brand. I can't. That's what I said. I got to figure out a name to call myself. I got to figure out something.
And Bernard, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt Hood, but when Hood is done, I wanted to speak because I had to drop down.
No, okay, yeah, you got next. Wait, hold on, real quick. Let me shout out to Theo. He said,
"Yeah, I'm done. I'm
I mean,
done."
not Theo, but Christian Hutchinson says Theo WAF has put more money in black men's hands than BLM. Absolutely, shout out to Christian Hutchinson. Do appreciate that. Yeah, like I've said it once, I've said it before, and people always want to lodge their criticisms at this space, or you're not doing this and not doing that, between people like Theo, Sub-Zero, and so many others. Like I use my channel as a platform to funnel black men who are interested into IT and all kind of other stuff. So it's like, yeah, that's what it's about. That's where it's at. That's what it's about, and that's where it's at. But thank you very much, Christian Hutchinson, for the super chat. Do appreciate that. But go ahead, little big Nate. You got it.
Yes, appreciate it, Bernard. I wanted to address the whole party switch issue and prove that that's a lie. And you can Google on YouTube. Well, don't Google on YouTube, but search on YouTube Dinesh D'Souza. He explains it how it's.
I saw that video. Yeah.
I'm going to explain in my version why it's an abject lie. Okay. I need you pro-blacks to listen carefully. All right. So I grew up in New York City, East Elmhurst, Queens. I grew up around no white people, just like in Massachusetts and Boston, just like in most parts of Los Angeles, just like in overwhelming parts of New Jersey, Connecticut, Chicago. All these liberal bastions are the most segregated places in our country. Democrat cities, blue liberal shitholes, are the most segregated places in the country. Now, Republicans have always worked with blacks up until blacks gave their complete vote in the 1960s to Democrats. Republicans were always our allies in state legislatures, working with us to try to help us protect our property and our families. It's just an irrefutable historical fact. You're going to have to get out your feelings, you pro-blacks and leftists. So today, the most segregated areas are exactly what I explained to you, while the most integrated areas is the ruby red South. The whites that dominated the South have died off, and they're now, most of them, relegated to the poor trailer trash, single wide trailer parks. I go to these trailer parks to do claims. I deal with these white people all the time. They're largely Democrats. They vote to reinforce their welfare and the other things that they need in their dirty little blue enclaves in red states. Okay? Red states are now dominated by white Republicans. When I moved, when I was 13, from the north to the south, I moved to Augusta, Georgia. My mom moved all 7 of us. We had to get out the house really quick.
Wait, Nate, real quick. Were you, I thought, not to interrupt you, but were you giving a breakdown on how the party switched sometime around 1965?
No, they didn't switch.
I mean, had to prove that they didn't switch.
Yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm proving they didn't switch. The Republican Party has grown by leaps and bounds in the South. The white Democrats are now largely are stuck in these poor Democrat enclaves, these little poor white counties like Chester, South Carolina, like Great Falls, South Carolina, these places I go to do claims. That's where they are. And the white Republicans cover the ruby red South. And in white ruby red Republican America, it is the most integrated place in our country now. So Republicans have a long history of working with, dealing with blacks. But what blacks need to understand, it's blacks of like minds. It's not just blacks based on the color of your skin black. If you're an industrious, family-oriented black, like many of us used to be back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. All about our family, all about our business, all about handling business, staying out of trouble. That's what most black people basically were.
Nate, let me ask you a question, Nate.
Sure, go ahead.
And I know you're on the wrong side of this argument, perhaps, to answer it like wholeheartedly, but I want to pose the question just the same. And I like to keep things simple because I don't always want to dig through, thousands of pages of text to get to one little factoid. Where are all the speeches of prominent Republicans abandoning the Republican Party? Where George Washington like that? Where's that?
Well, there's a couple that abandoned the Republican Party. Well, no, Senator Senator Fred Hollins was a Democrat, but Strom Thurmond went from the Democrat Party, a white racist, and then he came into the Republican Party because he just saw it was politically advantageous for him to do so. But there was no switching of the parties. The Republican Party in the South whites grew exponentially, and now they cover the South.
The reason why I asked that is because when it comes to like things that you can measure objectively, you can only find one guy.
Well, there was another guy.
Sorry, two guys. Okay, fair enough. In a nation of millions, we got like two guys. Okay, fair enough.
There were two.
I think it was more than that, but it wasn't nearly as significant as what people think. I mean, it was a small amount. I'm actually trying to find it's a really short clip out there of Dinesh D'Souza.
Can I
debunking that? I'm actually trying to find it right now while we speak.
Can I jump in and just talk about the so-called switch?
Yes, go ahead.
So Bernard, how you doing? Hood Conservative, Little Big Nate.
I'm good.
Rest of the panel, how's everyone doing? Here's the thing: there was never any party switch. The Negroes switched when the Civil Rights Bill was passed. When the Civil Rights Bill was passed, it was passed under a Democratic president, but signed by mostly Republicans. More Democrats was against the Civil Rights Bill. And because it came under a Democratic president, the mindless Negro decided that Democrats were their friends. And that was the switch. It was not parties. It was the Negro that switched.
And for the first time in our history in this country, we gave 94% that year, 1964, we gave 94% of our vote to the Democrat Party. 94. And it's been similar ever since. LBJ called it. I don't know if he was a clairvoyant. I don't know if he had a crystal ball, but he said, I will have these niggers voting Democrat for the next 200 years. And guys like me, guys like Hood, maybe these other gentlemen up on the channel, you need to be subscribing to my Rumble channel if you're a conservative, are trying to break that curse that LBJ has put on us by trying to get black men to open their eyes and not necessarily become Republicans. I have never told black men to be a Republican, but I do implore black men, do not be a Democrat. Just don't, brother. There's nothing over there for you. Nothing. They want to put your sons in dresses. They have put black women and women in general in charge of everything. The Democrat Party tried to give the state of Georgia to a 300-pound lesbian. The Democrat Party has given several cabinet positions to homosexuals. Just because they're homosexuals, not because they're qualified for the job. This is your modern-day Democrat Party.
All right, I got Dinesh D'Souza right here. Hopefully this is the video that I was looking for. We're just breaking down whether or not the parties switched or not. We'll give this a listen.
Now, did the parties switch sides courtesy of Richard Nixon's cunning Southern strategy? The short answer is no, no. Richard Nixon did not have this Southern strategy, and the proof of it is that when Nixon was elected, the first thing he did, one of his first policies, affirmative action. Nixon invented affirmative action. And what is affirmative action? Legal preferences for minorities over whites. So think about this. Does it make any sense that a guy who's supposedly wooing the Deep South, trying to win the Southern racist Democrats over to the Republican Party, does it make any sense that that guy, the first thing he does when he comes in, legal preferences for blacks over whites? That makes no sense. That fact alone should raise your antenna, your suspicions that that is not what was going on at all. You have another case of revisionist historiography. Now, the beauty of living today is that the stuff I say is not Dinesh's history versus some other guy's history. You can check, you can verify. And so when I say things like the racist Democrats, the Dixiecrats, never became Republicans, there's a way to find out. Your phone, call them up. As you know in the movie, I put them up on the screen. I name them. In the House, in the Senate, 150 guys, roughly. A big number. And then I count how many of the racist Dixiecrats became Republicans. In the House, one guy.
Yeah, they went back
Watson.
to the Democratic Party.
In the Senate, one guy, Strom Thurmond, and one guy. How many of the racist Dixiecrats became Republicans? In the House, one guy, Albert Watson. In the Senate, one guy, Strom Thurmond. And all the other racists stayed and lived and died in the Democratic Party. And are lionized in the Democratic Party. My wife Debbie and I were going to Washington, D.C. tomorrow. There are buildings in Washington named after them. So the notion that the racist Democrats became Republicans is a flat-out progressive fiction. But it's a fiction promoted by really smart people who know better, but are willing to lie for their cause. Case in point, the Princeton historian Kevin Cruz constantly keeps saying, Dinesh, you're wrong. The racist Dixiecrats did become Republicans. What about Jesse Helms? What about Trent Lott? What about John Tower? The what about doesn't really work because none of those guys were racist Dixiecrats. They weren't Dixiecrats at all. The definition of a Dixiecrat is either somebody who joined the Dixiecrat Party in the 40s or somebody who voted against the Civil Rights Act of 1964. That's the conventional measure that historians use to count who is a Dixiecrat. Now, Kevin Cruz knows this. He knows that Helms was not a Dixiecrat, but he also is counting. It's called the argumentum ad ignorantium. It's the argument that relies on the ignorance of the audience. He doesn't think his students know. And this is why when I said to Cruz, listen, why don't we debate it? I'll come to Princeton University, your home campus. We'll debate in front of your own students. You'll have a hospitable crowd. Last I saw, the guy was hiding under his desk. He doesn't dare. And he doesn't dare for one simple reason. He doesn't dare because he doesn't need to. It's not just that he's a coward, he is. But he doesn't dare because he doesn't need to. He knows he has a monopoly over his students. He knows he's in a position to bully them. He knows that there's a risk that if I come on, this is the same risk that, say, Rachel Maddow would take if she put me on about fascism. This woman bloviates about fascism every day. But she won't have me on for 90 seconds because that's all it would take to expose her as a complete fraud, to show that she knows nothing about fascism at all. She doesn't even know the definition of it, or if she does, she's not letting on. Because the definition of fascism is really clear. State control over the organs of business and state control over the lives of citizens. That is the actual clinical meaning of fascism. As Mussolini put it, everything in the state, nothing against the state, nothing outside the state. Now, there's one more principle I want to talk about briefly before going to questions, and that is the concept of Gleichschaltung. Gleichschaltung is coordination, bringing the whole society into lockstep with the priorities of the Nazi Party. When I was in Nuremberg and Munich shooting the movie.
All right, it looks like we yeah, he already made the point. It looks like he's about to segue into other points, but I think he made the points quite well that the people that were the racist Democrats back then, the Dixiecrats, you know, they never left the Democratic Party. They stayed in it. They lived in it. They died in it. I remember when I heard him making this point a while. I mean, I heard him making this point sometime around, you know, like in the not earlier part of the 2000s, sometime between 2000 and 2010. back then he was saying it from the perspective like these people are still, still in office. You got to think there's people, there's old ass people in politics that were, around in the 60s, around in 1965. They got into politics in like the later part of the 50s. They were still in there all the way into the 2000s. Like, they're old as hell. There's a lot of them that it's 2023. They've died off by now. But yeah, he was basically saying, he was making that same argument, in the earlier part of the 2000s. He was like, look it up. These same people that we were calling Dixiecrats, they're still in office. It's like, so yeah. So,
and to be honest with you, Bernard, when I said two, I said Strom Thurmond, and I thought Jesse Helms was a Dixiecrat. That's the name I was trying to think of, Jesse Helms. But he wasn't a Dixiecrat, oddly enough, as Dinesh D'Souza says. I'm going to look into that. And it's very interesting. So it was only one he could name in the Senate, Strom Thurmond, the guy I named. Wow. Yeah, that's not a party switch, gentlemen. So for the gentleman that leaned to the left, if you're listening, will you please stop saying that in the chat? Will you unless the boss guy that started this whole conversation, I would appreciate it if you'd come up and counter what Dinesh D'Souza says in a cogent and comprehensive way, sir. We look forward to you hitting the StreamYard link. I know you will. All
right. SKC in the building says another lie, the trickle-down economics statement. I don't know what SKC is talking about there. I don't know exactly what he means there, but all right, let's
you could do a simple Google search, and a Google search will tell you that the Dixiecrats went back into the Democratic Party. I posted this years ago on Instagram. Simple Google search, people. That's all you have to do.
Don't care about the truth, bruh.
You right.
Niggas don't. Leftist black men and pro-blacks, because they're dominated and controlled and guided by, no offense, ladies, but leftist black women. I'm never going to condemn black women. I am very specific who I lob my missiles at, the heads of. Leftist liberal black women dominate our politics in the black community, and black men line up behind them. How many times have we played the video of those black Democrat male mayors? I know Hood Conservative has that shit, that he can pull it up anytime. Those black Democrat mayors telling black men to get behind the most failed administrations in the Democrat Party, black female mayors. The most violence, the most destruction, the most looting, the most crime, the least amount of business activity take place in black female Democrat-run cities. And here these black Democrat mayors, these males, are telling us to get behind these failed women like Lori Lightfoot. They gave her a special little thing in it. She said, "We're fly." And then they showed this failed Marxist lesbian nightmare of a black woman, Lori Lightfoot. How any of you black men vote Democrat is beyond me.
All right. Cafe 702 in the building says, shout out to the essential looters. Yeah, when we was talking about those looters who was getting things they needed, Kudos to them. Not just play. But all right, passing the mic on forward. We kind of segued from the main topic. We were talking about King Randall, who made a quote, and a lot of black people came for him. And had an issue with it. And then he showed that his quote that he made was very similar, if not a absolute verbatim quote from Malcolm X. He showed that, he proved that, and he used the quote, "Negroes mad." And yeah, because they was mad about that. But that's what we was talking about. We segued to a number of topics, passing to dirty folks. You can pick it up wherever you want to pick it up at. You got the floor, you got the mic.
All right, so categorically, first of all, I agree with Don Lemon for this reason, because I really don't agree with him, but I agree with him for this reason, because black is the brand of victim. All women are black. I don't care what their hue is. black, brown, gray, beige. All women are black. Karen's a new black. All gays are black. Gay is a new black. Black is for victimhood. That's the brand. That's what everyone refers to that. When you're doing deleterious activities, you can be white as snow, but you're acting black. It's a bad brand. You need to rebrand. But with that being said, black is also very much anti-man, pro-woman. Now, I'll give you an example when we talk about the education, because that's what King Randall did. I hate the fact that King Randall gave these goofy-ass toddlers credit. He found homeless boys, boys in orphanages, boys in halfway houses. He didn't help their mothers. They were horrible people already. He saved who could be saved. Just because he's an awesome man, he gives his credit to black women, and I hate that. Because girls don't know shit. They just do shit. When it comes to his ability to get a boarding school and why Umar doesn't have a boarding school, because he cake on these stupid ass toddlers, is because I was there, and y'all can look this up. I was there in 2010 when Evanston, Illinois was offering schools. In 2012, when Chicago was talking about shutting down 51 public schools that they didn't do until 2016, 2017. While they were also pushing in the transgender story hour too, by the way. And it was a common thing. The Fed said, yo, colored people. It was like, what up? It was like, yo, look, we're going to take away the public schools, but we're going to give you two choices. You can either make them a boarding school or a charter school, but we're taking them off the public school roster. And unequivocally, liberal women, and all women are black, liberal women said no, not because they cared about the education of the students, because everybody wanted to take their kids out of public school and put them in charter school anyway. It's because they didn't want to lose the teachers union salary. Because they didn't care about if the kids can read, because the kids can't read. They teaching your kids still can't read. They didn't want to lose their pension and bonuses because they got student loans to pay. At the same time, they gave Mexicans the same deal. Mexicans formed a corporation called UNO, and now there's a bunch of charter schools that's higher education and bigger than the public schools in the state of Illinois, in the city of Chicago, paid for by the exact same funds, getting the exact same budget as public schools. The whole thing is hoes stay mad, and niggas listen to hoes. That's why niggas stay sad. When you look at the Lyndon B. Johnson administration, it wasn't the fact that he pushed the 1963 Civil Rights Bill. It was the fact that he already knew that he was going to take it from black men, because he's talking to all the black men, the Jesse Jacksons, the Al Sharptons, and they're telling him, look, we're going to offer it to men first because men are awesome, but I want you to give up all your sovereignty to your woman. And they said, bet, because we love white pussy anyway. So what they did is in 1963, they did the Civil Rights Act, which included the Equal Opportunity Commission, so black men could stop being last hired, first fired. And then in 1965, they said that, 1968, they said that women in general, or a minority, and they started phasing out black men and putting in white women. So even black men, when they have every opportunity to be American, they will vote for pseudo slavery every time to save a bitch. Look, I understand what Nate says, but Nate forgets that 98% of black women are liberal. When he's so you're talking about 2%. If I gave you a plus minus 2% on anything, you're just like, yo, it might as well be me. These hoes are horrible, man. And you stay riding for the 2 out of 100 that might be right. You know what I'm saying? Casualties of war, my nigga.
I ain't gonna argue with you, dog. I don't think it's.
That wasn't me. That was Ariam.
That's what I say about that, man.
But all right, shout out to Sir Tyson in the building with the $10 super chat. Do appreciate that. He said, so y'all saying you gotta do it, vote Republican, and problem solved. Please destroy this horrible talking point retort leftists love to say. Huh.
I can handle that.
Well, we're gonna put a okay, all right. Because we got the gentleman that gave you some pushback from.
Sure. Go ahead.
No but well, no, I do want to honor the super chats. Go ahead and respond to that one. We do got to go to the damn. I didn't know my camera was still off. We do got to go to the gentleman to the right, because that is Boss Cowboy Sports, or I'm forgetting your name, we are going to go to Boss Cowboy Sports, who started a lot of the discussion in the chat room about the party switching, and he had some pushback. So we're going to go to him. Put that super chat back up. I'm being told that I read. Okay, so y'all saying all you got to do is, you read it wrong. All you got to do is vote Republican. No, that was okay. I'm gonna read it like I think you saying. So y'all saying all you got to do is vote Republican and the problem solved. Please destroy this horrible talking point. Retort leftists love to say. I think he's saying I didn't read it black enough, probably. But all right. But go ahead, Nate. You take that, and then we'll pass it to Boss Cowboy Sports.
Appreciate that, Bernard. And also salute Tice. And me and Tice got huge Black Manosphere meetup news coming in the next week, 2 weeks. The website, everything. So all you got to do is vote Republican. Well, what Sir Tice is pointing to is the elementary mindset of blacks that are on the left. See, blacks on the left are all wrapped up in their emotions. That's why niggas in the chat always want to fight, who are leftists. They always end up wanting to fight. This is well known throughout this space. Leftist niggas always end up wanting to fight most of the time. There's been a couple of conservative niggas that have wilded out too, including me. But
I was just about to say, you being one of them,
including me,
one of them, Nate.
including me. But I don't threaten people to come fight. I don't do that unless you threaten me first. But this whole thing, it's the elementary mindset of black people on the left. See, black people on the left, they're politicians like Maxine Waters, Jim Clyburn, Representative Jeffries, who doesn't believe, well, I'm not going to go into that. Representative Jeffries in CBC. Black people turn their Democrat leadership into celebrities. These people go on Jimmy Kimmel. These people go on Stephen Colbert. Whereas every other productive class of people in this country, they put their politicians under the boot of their demands. On the Luciferian leftist black side, blacks say, oh, let's listen to our leaders and they'll tell us what to do. Dumb niggas on the left look at Maxine Waters and want to be told what to do. They look at Jesse Jackson and want to be told what to do. They look at Roland Martin and want to be told what to do. And then they get right in lockstep behind their celebrity Democrat leadership, where every other racial group in this country that bends to the political right and votes that way, they put their politicians under the boot of their demands. And if they don't deliver, they get primaried. Just like in 2020 and 2022, you saw dozens and dozens of MAGA primaries of Republican establishment figures. Donald Trump beat them 90% of the time. Period. That's the problem with just saying, oh, if we just vote Republican, the problems are over. No. When you come over here, you actually have to use your brain. We're not looking to be liked over here. We're looking to make demands of the people we send to Capitol Hill. And if they don't deliver, we punish them. Where over on the left, you niggas make celebrities out of your goddamn CBC leadership and your president, your Obamas, and all the other niggas that you all celebrate as fucking celebrities. We don't make celebrities. Mitch McConnell's not a fucking celebrity. Mike, the Speaker of the House, Mike McCarthy, he's not a fucking celebrity. None of them are celebrities.
I heard Mike.
You niggas make celebrities out of your politicians on the left. Thank you.
All right. But thank you for that super chat, Sir Tice. Anybody else got any questions, comments, concerns? Still empty your heart's line. Yeah, definitely feed it through the super chat. Do appreciate everybody who's supporting the stream. So we're joined by Boss Cowboy Sports. You had some pushback from the chat room. You are on the panel. You have the floor. You have the mic. Fire away.
Yeah, so what's up, man? Thank you, Bernard. First time actually getting in. Really appreciate how you open up the panel to people that you don't even know. That's real. But I would say this. It really started from the first clip that you stated, where you were showing, where basically the guy was saying that black folks, white folks, they don't really, what he was saying was white folks, they want you to talk about race. And he was saying it like we were saying it from a victim standpoint. And I brought up the DeSantis bill that's currently right now with the Republicans, where they don't want you to talk about race because that bill is to restrict companies and schools from discussing race. So I was saying some of the stuff that he's saying is not accurate according to the bills that even some of the Republicans have put out there. So it really wasn't pushback. It was more so correcting one of the statements that he said.
Well, let's talk. Hold on, wait, real quick before you move forward. Let's talk about that. You're saying this bill is about making people not discuss race. Is it about that, or is it more so about they don't want it to be taught in the schools that the country is inherently racist and still is in everything that we see that appears to be a discrepancy or a difference in outcomes between different people of different races? It's evidence that the country is deliberately, intentfully racist or white supremacist at its core. Is it that they don't want that specifically taught in school, or is it that they just don't want mention of race or racism?
I can tell you exactly what it is, Bernard.
Oh, no, wait, let me
No. I'm saying I can answer it once he answers.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would love to be able to
exactly
jump in after he's done as well and pick that apart.
Yeah, and my thing was basically they are putting out bills out there that's about race, regardless. They are putting out these bills that's about race. Like for a Republican to actually say they want limited government, but then say we need government to have race discussions, is more government for race discussions. So whatever the details are or not, it's still against the principles that's supposed to be Republican for those who really understand the Republican principles. And I would say this for the most part, most Black people, period, are more conservative in values than liberal. So most people don't know that, but that's the facts of who we are generally as a people in terms of the general and the masses. But in terms of race discussions and bills on race, when that guy said white folks, he was basically saying they want us talking about that. And it's like, no, they actually putting bills out there for race discussions.
That's not true. It's just not
so
true.
This is not a bill that's out there with them with race discussions.
Sure, I can tell you exactly what the bill is.
All right. Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So answer Dark Knight Mentality's a question in your answer, because he's saying what bill is he talking about? I was just assuming that it was a DeSantis critical race theory thing.
Yeah, sure, I'll read it. As a matter of fact, Bernard,
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bernard. If you
go ahead. You got it.
No problem. If you want to put this up, I'll read it while it's up. And this is from Governor DeSantis's own website. If you want to put that up, sir.
I'll put it up, or you can just read it. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Oh wait, you got it right there. Okay.
Yeah, cool. It's right there. Okay. Governor DeSantis announces legislative proposal to stop woke activism and critical race theory in schools and corporations. So it's not race. That is patently false. Okay. Not being able to speak about race would mean they could never make distinctions between people in school. That is not true, sir. It's just not true. He is banning critical race theory. Critical race theory is a Marxist ideology that comes out of Marx's ideology of critical theory. Critical theory back in the 1800s, it was critical of the West's embrace of capitalism. Marxism is the antithesis of capitalism, all right? Marx wanted to destroy capitalism throughout the world. America is a capitalist society. So why would we want critical theory about race to be taught? That is Marxist, okay? And all it does is demonize and make white people feel guilty. I'm sorry. I'm not a proponent of defending white people. White people can fucking defend themselves. But I do not want white people targeted for hatred. We got enough white school shooters, don't we? Don't we, sir? So how about we don't do that? How about we don't teach critical theory based on race, which is a Marxist ideology. It was not about not teaching race. It's about not teaching critical race theory, which is Marxist and should be avoided at all costs.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Like, who's teaching that? Like, what's the curriculum of critical race theory that where it needed a bill?
Sir, if you're fine with trannies in bathrooms and critical race
I
theory,
say that. I say what is
critical race theory? I'm adding that to my statement.
Okay.
Because I'm sure you are. You're for critical race theory. You're for destroying the public school system. That's what you're for. You will further antagonize white people. We already have several incidents of blacks. Why don't you let me finish? I'll prove they're being antagonized. I'll prove they're being antagonized. We also have several incidents. We've played them on Bernard's channel of black students in elementary and middle schools attacking white students who won't say Black Lives Matter. We don't need critical race theory. Start your own school. Teach it there. It won't be taught in schools in Florida and anywhere else where men have a say. Just get used to it.
Okay.
All you leftist niggas get used to it.
Oh, who you calling the leftist nigga? You talking to me?
You. Yeah. Hold on. Wait. Chill. We don't need. Hold on. So, whoa. We don't need to get to that. I think
wasn't that him that said that?
We can, bro. I'm talking. Let's host talk. Then we can have a good conversation here. We don't need to even go there. Calling names, even if it's descriptive. We don't.
My apologies.
We don't know where this man politically.
I apologize. I'm apologizing. I'm sorry.
All right, so
let me
go ahead. We're gonna get one more response from Cowboy Boss Sports. I hope I said your name right.
No, it's Boss Cowboy Sports.
Oh, Boss Cowboy Sports. We're gonna get one more response to him. Then we're gonna kick it around through the panel on this. But go ahead. You can respond to Nate, and then we're gonna go to I think that's Black Thought at the bottom, and then Fantastic just came on this. And Hood, you've been quiet for a while, so feel free to jump in on this because I know this is one of your pet subjects.
Oh yeah, I'm still listening. I'm still here. I'm just being polite. Let everybody have their voice.
All right, cool. But all right, go ahead, boss. I'm so bad with names, but you got it.
Yeah. So first of all, because somebody disagree with you, don't mean they're liberal. I actually believe that most of us should be independent. Whether I don't believe in being liberal or conservative. I think the best place to be is in the middle where you make both sides fight for your vote. I think that's the most effective place to be. That's why most people cater to the purple states, and that's where more presidential candidates visit the purple states because of their independence. So that's a very unfair assumption to make because somebody don't agree with every detail that you make that they're liberal and they get name called. So anyway, the other thing that I disagree with was what happened with the Dixiecrats with the Southern strategy, because what really happened from my view of history, from my research of history, is that after the Civil Rights Bill from Johnson, is that it caused a schism within the Southern Party, right, which was the Dixiecrats at the time. So Nixon began to campaign with what was called the Southern strategy to appeal to those Republican, the Dixiecrats at that time, to try to win them over to the Republican Party. They are still, to a degree, even doing those same campaign tactics today. That's why you have people like Trump who told everybody to their face, in front of the world, Proud Boys, stand down. Like when you catering, and yeah, Rick Santorum did it too. Rick Santorum did it too, where he talked about black people, then he got called out and started saying black people. That's that catering to that far right racist base that's also in the Republican Party. So what? That's why
it's nonsense. He's lying. He's lying.
No, let him finish.
I'm not lying. I'll put the whole link on the blog.
Let him finish. We're gonna let him finish. We're gonna let him finish.
And I don't see why he gets so frustrated when somebody just
no. Hey, whoa. Hold on. I intervened on your behalf, so just go ahead and speak your mind. Go ahead. You can stay on the topic. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So what really happened, from my view of history, is when Johnson signed the Civil Rights Bill. That's why he said we lost the South for a generation, because it opened up a chasm for race divide over the Civil Rights Bill, which was for us. And that's why I also disagree with the guy that was going against Lemon when he said the best thing that happened for blacks was basically the Second Amendment, and the war and Civil War was about blacks with guns. But if guns was the remedy, why did we even need a civil rights bill? So that's why I was saying some of the dots that they was trying to connect don't connect. Like even the fact that he said is proof that the Southern strategy didn't happen because one of the first bills that was signed by Nixon was the affirmative action. But see, because you campaign a certain kind of way, don't mean you actually govern that way. People do that all the time. That's why I said in the chat that the first Bush, he said, read my lips, no new taxes. Yes, he did say that. And then one of the first things he did was raise taxes. Did that mean that he didn't campaign and cater to people based on the notion that he wasn't going to raise their taxes? No. So what that guy tried to do, the Indian guy that you showed, he showed two dots that don't connect. He connected them and said, see, they connect. And it's just garbage.
Bernard, this is nonsense, bro.
Go ahead.
Just
Real quick, Nate. Make it quick because I do got to pass it around.
I promise. We got plenty of people. My apologies, man. Number one, if it was about appealing to racists that are the base of the Republican Party, where's the history of racism?
I said a lot of the base.
First of all,
and
you're lying.
Said at the time it was the
First of all, you're lying.
Right,
like I
ahead,
said, the Republican Party is the Republican Party dominates the South. The South is the most integrated part of the country. You're lying, number one. Number two, if he was trying to appeal to the base, which is racist, then why did Donald Trump in every campaign speech and speeches during his presidency brag about lowering the black unemployment rate to the lowest in 50 years? Why did he brag about funding HBCUs to the highest level in history? Why would he brag about that to a bunch of racists? Nothing you say makes any sense. I'm not going to call you a leftist anymore, but you espouse the same lies that the left does. Okay? That's what you're doing. Why would a man who put more money in the hands of black educators, why would a man who put over 8,700 opportunity zones in close proximity to black ghettos? They weren't specifically for blacks, but they were in close proximity to poor black communities in the first 2 years of his administration to give opportunities to black men to get access to capital to start businesses. Black men didn't do it. They were too busy complaining about racism like you.
Wait, Nate, that's not totally accurate though. The opportunity zones in Illinois, they were called hub zones. It was called some urban business zones. They were called hub zones here. They just rebranded, and everybody already had one. What he did was he provided more funding to them, but they already existed. He didn't create them. But
my apologies.
All right, okay.
But the point still remains.
Yeah.
He reached out to black people in the
also,
way.
He also expanded them. But no, Nate is right. He also expanded them out. He also expanded the area of the zones. So like he said, Nate is right. They already existed, but he expanded them out to certain area codes and certain areas that were closer to, like he said, Atlanta especially. He expanded it. It already existed there, and he expanded them out. And what happened was people tried to flip it like he wasn't doing it, but the main people taking advantage, i.e., specifically, and I remember this in Atlanta, was Killer Mike and T.I. and those people that were all against Trump, fuck Trump, all this other stuff. But at the same time, these are the people that took advantage of the opportunity zones that he expanded upon. So no, Nate is right, bro.
So he's a racist. With all of those overtures, with all of those olive branches to black people, he's a racist. You gentlemen over there, wherever you call yourself politically, sir, you lie. All you all do is lie. You repeat the same disproven tropes that we have been disproving for years in this space, whether you're a conservative or Republican, an independent, or just a nigga that leans to the right.
He could have been misinformed. We don't know if he willfully lied. We don't know that.
I lied when this dude said in all y'all face, Proud Boys stand down. That was a lie. That he did.
But what
I
is
didn't
it?
say it
What
was
does it
racist. I
matter?
said it caters to it.
All right,
But
hold
And
on,
then
real
Rick
quick.
said to him, that's not a lie that he said when he was talking about welfare. And he said, I don't want to use black people. I want to teach them basically how to go out there and get jobs. And then he flipped it and said black people. Yeah, no, I'm not lying on nothing that I said.
I don't know
It
exactly.
is
Hold
a
on,
lie.
real quick. All right.
It's a fact on everything I said. I put the links in the direct quotes in the description.
All right. We're gonna. All right. That was funny. All right, Black Thought. You wanted to hop in. You wanted to hop in on something before that. So we're gonna go to you, then we're gonna go to Fantastic. Go ahead. You got the mic.
Yeah. The Ron DeSantis bill, which, you know, this gentleman says he's in the middle, but he does espouse a lot of leftist talking points. Now, here's the thing with the Ron DeSantis thing. Number one, you have those peons on the left trying to push off transgenderism as Black history when you get into what they're pushing. So they are telling you that, oh, he's trying to deny Black people and Black history and all of that. No, what he's denying is two elements: critical race theory and transgenderism, because they are trying to push that off as your Black history. That is what he's pushing to have removed. And as far as critical race theory goes, a lot of what they're teaching of so-called critical race theory, number one, it's actually not actual critical race theory. It's a more watered down version that they're pushing in the schools. But
can you explain that further?
Some of that, critical race theory is taught in colleges, in law schools. That's really where it comes from. Now,
but you
what
said
they're
watered
pushing,
down. I'm trying to understand you.
Okay, hold on. What they're pushing is that Nicole Hannah-Jones bullcrap, and it's revisionist history. That has already been debunked by historians. So and so they're pushing a theory. First of all, if you truly look into critical race theory, I'm gonna break it down to two simple things: whites superior, blacks inferior. If you really listen and look at what it is they're saying, and that's the long and short in simple form. Now, the reason why I say it's watered down is because critical race theory was really a law thing. They're just applying it to race to push their narrative. Why would critical race theory be good for Black people when it's basically saying you're inferior, you're oppressed, you cannot do anything? Why in the world would any educated Black man want that to be the narrative for himself and his family?
Damn.
I got pushback for that.
Okay.
Actually, I don't have any pushback for that. I have a because Bernard, swear to God, I say I have pushback, then I agree. I don't have any pushback for that. What I will say is this though: it's an elective course. There's only 3 mandatory courses. So when people start talking about this stuff, my child doesn't really have to know how to put on makeup and contour with the LBs, right?
No. But it's not. No, it's not. Hold on.
It definitely
fam,
is, bro.
it's not. No, it's not, fam. Not in elementary school, brother. It was in elementary school, fam.
Okay, listen to what I'm about to say you again. I'll be reading it. It is an elective course. Your mandatory courses are reading, writing, arithmetic, and 1 history. And it doesn't matter what type of history.
But that's not,
brother.
Hold on. In Florida, right?
Hello?
In Florida, they tried to pass off it as an elective course, and they tried to also pass it off as Black history, the transgenderism nonsense.
Yeah,
that's one that we need.
Yeah,
that's one that
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing. The crit did include Black feminism and queer studies within the crit studies.
Right, that's
And
not
that
black.
was
But I'm
repealed
not
after
even.
Ron DeSantis
But
made the,
hold on. This is what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. No, it's not. I'm agreeing with what you guys are talking about. You guys are talking about, at the high school level and where you're able to take it as a no, not that. The
It was
problem issue.
mandatory. It was mandatory in
But
Florida,
yeah,
actually.
yeah. Now hold on. Let me get it out, fam.
Okay, go ahead.
What I'm telling you is this: at the elementary school level, and shout out to SKC proved this, and plenty of other people have proven this. It was in the literature at the elementary school level,
What
bro.
type of school?
They were teaching. Hold on, brother. They
I'm
were
asking.
teaching, and brother, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It was everything from social studies to history to whatever. Even in math, they even had it in a math problem, bro. They even had critical race theory in a fucking math problem, brother. It's
Okay.
proven. It's been.
No. You're not understand. Okay, listen. That's what I'm saying. I give you. I got to give you a Tyler tale. When I was in 3rd grade, I went to a different school than my friends. All of my friends went to one of four elementary schools.
Yo, fantastic. Really quickly. For the if the guy if the
Somebody got background noise. Wait, hold on.
Is.
SKC, you just muted up. SKC. SKC
right,
got
look,
a screen share in the back.
I'm just saying,
to...
if you want to actually see, the information, and
he going in and out. All I'm saying is this.
SK, hold on, real quick. Hold on. Well, go ahead, dirty folks. But SKC, you do know you're going in and out. I don't know if you're in a bad spot, but
all I'm saying is this. It has to be a history class, a social studies class. It doesn't have to be the same class. When I was in 3rd grade, we went to 4 different schools. All four different schools have 4 different history books, even though we were all in 3rd grade together.
Dirty folks.
Yeah, I wanted to say something. I want to mention one thing though. The crit, the updated one now includes. It's mandatory for students, but they have to be educated on conservatives and liberals. So it's more, I would say, bipartisan. The previous rendition was more liberal, and it pushed elements of Black queer studies, Black feminism, LGBTQ. So it was more geared from a leftist framework. So that's kind of technically programming the next generation of Black individuals to be.
And it was at elementary school level. Y'all talk. That's what y'all are missing, bro. The biggest issue and problem is that, again, it was found in the literature. And one of the biggest things is, especially when you're talking about queer studies and things where you had these extremely sexual situations and graphic descriptive of sexual same-sex situations, brother. At the elementary school level, part of it as to which it was required reading or stuff that was being given to the students. That's just the queer studies part. I'm telling you for sure, it was critical race theory found in a math problem, brother, in math books.
Yep.
That's across the board. Y'all trying to argue something that you just don't know the hell you're talking about.
Just really quickly, everybody. Even when you show people the exact stuff from the schools, from the educators, they still won't believe it. I have it queued up right now.
All right. SK, hold on, wait, real quick. SKC got something queued up. We're gonna go right to
I'm saying they're not going to show that at homeschool. They're not going to show that at
Samuel
Catholic school. They're not
Professor
gonna show that in
of
church.
Urban Education at the University of Wisconsin in Madison. And she is a national leader in the field of education, particularly in the area of culturally relevant teaching and in understanding and addressing the achievement gap in schools. Her work blends empirical work, seeking to understand what makes teachers effective in leading all students to learn, with a theoretical work on critical race theory and its application to the classroom.
NBC has looked into everywhere, and it's not taught in elementary school. But hold on a second.
Thank you very much, Dr. Latson-Billings, for your lecture on critical race theory and education and application to broader areas as well. We now have time for question and answer.
So given what we know about where our African Americans are in terms of their achievement and where we want them to be, what do we do? And I think, I don't know, maybe just if you can nutshell 3 strategies for us elementary school teachers.
And the thing is, critical race theory is not something that can be banned. It's a
method of looking at history from a legal perspective, right? Through the lens of race. And what he's trying to do is try to ban what he thinks is a curricular study, and it's not in any K through 12 schools. No K through 12 school is running this in their system.
On critical race theory and its application to the classroom.
So given what we know about where our African Americans are in terms of their achievement and where we want them to be, what do we do? And I think, I don't know, maybe just if you can nutshell 3 strategies.
For us elementary school teachers, for us elementary school teachers, for us elementary school teachers.
NBC is looked into everywhere and it's not taught in elementary school. But hold on a second.
Thank you very much, Dr. Latson Billings, for your lecture.
Let's get push pause real quick. Okay, maybe I'm a little slow, and I'm missing. Maybe I'm slowing. Hold on, wait. Maybe I'm slowing. I'm missing the point. I'm seeing a montage, a compilation of. What am I missing here? I'm not hearing.
This is a teacher conference. Gloria Latson Billings she was put over education by Obama.
Okay.
She's having a conference with elementary and middle school teachers about critical race theory and its application in the classroom. So all those people that sit up and they'll say, "Where are you talking about? Why would they have this discussion if it wasn't taught?" It even goes further than that, where a math teacher, she goes in and shows to a math teacher different strategies of how you can put it in without having the actual what do they call it? Without having it in writing, but you can still teach it. The lesson plan.
Secret critical race math. That's what they're teaching kids. Secret critical race math.
So again, you can show this stuff to people from the people who are in education themselves, and they still won't believe it.
They're just subverting the curriculum laws and adding it in.
Yeah, I mean, especially even
broader areas as well.
I remember some report like Asians in New York City had issue with how they were trying to.
Wait. It's 2 things going at one time. One person is talking and the clip is playing.
As a future educator,
That's
if you
why I
had
like to
strategies for me to combat those in the classroom, I'm going to be a math educator, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Good.
And what we hear is, use problems that speak to diverse backgrounds.
Okay.
But that seems like a baby step. So I was just wondering if you had strategies to get to that second step.
So you want kids to understand mathematics as a useful tool for them to participate in the struggle. For them to participate in the struggle.
In the struggle.
For them
to
participate in the struggle.
Way too many girls with clothes on talking, man. And then the girl says she like math. Come on, stop the cap.
All right, let's hold on. Push pause on this. All right, so let's break that down. And I do apologize because I'm doing some channel related stuff while doing the stream, and I need to not do that because I have a hard time doing 2 things at once. So explain what point was made there, because I halfway missed it. So
well, like you said, she was asking for ways.
She was talking about math problems. It sounded like they was talking about like racial inclusive math problems.
Yes.
And so I mean, okay. So one could argue, how we know they're not saying, instead of saying Sally had 5 apples, let's say Tyrone had 5 apples. Like
that's exactly what it was, though, Bernard. It's a racial thing to where, like, the person it literally was a scenario they gave Bernard to where the white person was like taking advantage of the black person because they had more white apples, and they should give their apples to the black person, the black kid, so that everybody has equal apples.
Okay, now that's wrong right there. Now if they just, because I did see something where they were just saying, oh, it's just using more racially inclusive names, like Enrique had Enrique or Espinoza.
It's not just that. Apples. It was the fact that
if they're basically saying that a white girl stole 5 apples from a black girl who had 8 apples, how many apples does Shaquana have left? After,
exactly. Oppressing. Sarah is oppressing Shaniqua. How many apples should Sarah give to Shaniqua so so Shanique was no longer oppressed. Some shit like that, Bernard. That shit has been proven, bro. Real shit.
That's not just racism. That's socialism. And that's what they're trying to teach. All this shit finds its roots in Marxism and communism, dog.
Yeah, not trying, man. And if you paid attention, like you said, the author of that book was How to Be an Anarchist. Again, bro, it's been taught. We've been told this shit by Yuri Brezhnev for I don't know how long, bro. And then not to mention you coming to see now that you literally have Chinese police cells in the fucking United States, bro. Like, bro.
Up in New York,
yeah, bro. I can't it's so much stuff that's here and people don't take serious and pay attention to. But the communism and the Marxism and the socialism that's been, especially at the collegiate level, where they get these young white people and they tell them, hey, you're guilty, you're racist, you're racist. So they brainwash them and tell them, hey, be ashamed to be a white person. Now go help these poor, defenseless black people that not smart enough to know them for themselves or think for themselves, and tell them that you're their oppressor while you teach them. But teach them to hate the white folks that they learn it from, and they'll never be nothing because they black and white people are better. Yeah,
that's
bro.
That's exactly what it pushes. And the point of this video is for those who are saying there is no critical race theory in school. You are hearing it from the educators themselves. So if you're still sitting in your bubble saying it's not true, you are operating in Megatron level ignorance.
And just a question right quick, because I'm gonna leave out the guy that has the headphones on. I just see BC in the background.
Yeah, that's Boss Cowboy.
Have you seen something like this before?
Well, no, I've never ever in my life heard of that theory taught, especially in the way that it was explained here, to where white folks are being told that they should be guilty. I just want to at least see an example of it. Like,
I'm just saying, did you see the example on the screen? That was Gloria Lansing Billings. If you want to look her up,
she was
the education lead that was put in control by Obama, and those are her words. So what do you have to say about that?
Her words was like what supposed to shock me about what she said. I'm not getting
okay. All right, and that's
can we stop trying to talk to this dude?
I'm trying to understand. Like, bro, you ain't gotta trip, bro.
We're not tripping, brother. Well, brother,
hold on. If you trying to convert somebody,
we're not trying to convert you, dog.
I'm just trying to understand, bro. So if I'm asking a question,
okay, brother,
I mean my question.
We're respectfully though, brother. We've literally explained it at length, at least 4 different people. And like I said, this is my first time actually talking to you directly. So, brother, the way I broke it down, you had visual aid to prove it to you and to hear it verbatim from the source. And then how did you not?
I didn't hear.
So you weren't listening?
Said. No, I heard what you said. You said that white folk are being taught to be guilty, to go out there and say that basically that we are your oppressors and that it's our fault. And I didn't hear that from her, white guilt. I didn't hear that from a clip. And if it was, I was like, can somebody play it? Because I didn't hear that. So,
brother, you don't have to hear that.
Hear what you said?
No, you didn't hear that, brother. That's me understanding and seeing what's going on with society as to where a white man, white woman, white person bad.
That's why I asked my brother. I said, can you
send me
an example of
what do you mean?
You said?
Brother,
what you said is that
brother,
it's basically white guilt being taught out here.
So brother, are you a pro-black? Well, brother, I'm gonna ask you. Are you a pro-black, brother? I don't know. I don't want to put anything on. Do you consider yourself a pro-black?
I mean, I want definitely fairness for blacks all day. If that's pro-black, yes, I am.
Okay, so you're pro-black. So, brother, were you aware what happened in the George Floyd riots, to where you had white people kissing and washing the feet of black people for racism?
I never saw that, bro.
You never saw that, brother?
I never saw it, bro.
Brother, you never saw it? Well, brother, listen, I'll tell you. Well, brother, respectfully,
asking for if you send it
and
to
brother,
me,
that's what I don't have to, brother. Brother, I don't know you to send you anything, brother. But you have Google, just like we all have Google, brother.
Okay,
so just put Google white people washing black people's feet, brother. George Floyd, and you will see a plethora, brother, a smorgasbord of examples, brother. Okay, hell, niggas was talking about that. This is what brothers was saying. Niggas was saying, hey, white girls giving away free head, brother. For reparations during the Westman.
And they was taught this by theory?
brother, hey, this is what niggas said. I'm going about what
But
the
I'm
niggas
just
said.
saying, was they taught this by theory? The white folks
Brother,
like,
hey, there's that white guilt, man. White niggas was taking advantage. They was lining up.
And I warned you niggas. I warned you niggas about loving these goddamned white turncoats. These white Benedict Arnolds who hate themselves. You niggas celebrate. You niggas, I'm not saying you, but niggas on the left celebrate and have so much adulation for white people that hate themselves. You're an idiot. You are a fucking idiot. If you trust somebody that hates themselves based on their color, you are a fucking idiot. Trusting a goddamn turncoat like that.
That's a fact, little big Nate. And here's the funny part, right? Here's how you know that you in the fucking Dulo twist. What time ever in history, what nationality ever turned around and said, "Oh, I hate myself and I love you more, and you matter more than that"? You know that's a fucking trick bag because that's never been done before. And it's not real. I don't believe in white guilt. This is a motherfucking trick bag for black people. Our children can't read. Okay? And they instead of teaching the children 1, 2, 3, they're talking about Sally is white and apples. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Just teach my kid the goddamn math curriculum.
Whoa, brother. Also teaching the kids about gay pornographic sex in these books. They're teaching them that too.
I don't want that shit.
Yeah, that's the other big part of it too. That was the covert aspect of it, to where, which is even more malicious and more aggressive. The covert teaching of same-sex, LGBT stuff, man. That right there is just diabolical, bro. And like
they
the transgenderism,
they teach a lot of covert anti-black family rhetoric. That's all
I
I
want
to
say something about this. I think it's how it has been for quite some time, where it's a battle between black leftists and black conservatives. At the moment, black leftism is mainstream, so we're seeing much more of a resurgence among black conservatives.
We're in that time now.
If you saw a clip recently that Anton reacted to, where he was criticizing DJ Academics for joining Rumble, and he was basically saying it was racist, and Rumble doesn't do anything for black people. That's the example of gatekeeping, trying to force black people to stay within the.
What did he just say?
Party? Yeah,
wait a minute. What did he just say? He said who was doing it? Who's doing it?
Roland Martin.
Yeah, I saw that. I was actually on it. Yeah.
No, what Roland Martin said was this. He said, "Is Rumble black first?" And when I responded to his stupidity, I said, "As if YouTube is." Roland Martin is an idiot.
And one of the things that
follow him politically.
This is one of the things that made me really.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
This is why in this space for the last 4 years, all I've told you is all you can work with is like-minded men. That came from Little Big Nate. I've told you it's time to separate. That came from Little Big Nate. I've told you you're never going to be able to accomplish anything with dudes on the left. It has nothing to do with me hating them personally. It is this poisonous grievance culture mindset that they have, and their commitment to following black female leadership, which is completely consumed by white liberals and the left. It's just the facts. I'm sorry.
And that's
why I want to thank this guy for having this panel, because this is the only type of stuff I like to joining things that are about something, and especially through black media. Because sometimes we got to pass this information to not only those who know what's going on, but those who live through it. See, I'm one of those who came up in the 80s and the 90s and saw what they did, and we didn't forget. We saw the system, and when we got older, we was able to put the knowledge of what went on behind it. One thing that I saw, like you bring up Roland Martin, was when one of the guys that had the idea that we should have been doing and putting forward was Ice Cube. But guess who was the first people to go against him? Those that was on that Roland Martin show, and women and those leftists. And I said, hold up, that's what we're supposed to be using our vote for. Give us something on paper. And the way that they was brainwashing people through this TV, I said, this is baffling to me. Please tell me that we don't have so many of us that dumb. When people go back and look at what Trump put on paper, and this is stuff I saw in real life, not just on paper. Saw brothers getting out on nonviolent crimes, able to go in corporate America, starting their own business, taking advantage. There's like 4 dudes I went to high school with took advantage of that and got businesses in our old community. This is stuff that they put on paper. Now, when it comes to we talking about that other side, all of their rhetoric is anti-black family, and I think we need to really zone in on that. Everything that they push. I don't want to get into that critical race theory, but it kind of ties into why people are against that, because it ties back into that other group, you know, that 3-letter group that when you go and look into when we actually said, hold on, they're masking this as something else. And we went and looked into their criteria and said, hold on, man, this stuff is anti-family. This ain't about no black people. And like so many people were fooled, and they just took this money and ran. You don't want to go that way. I kind of want to be short. Yeah, and I kind of want to be short. I grew up in the 80s, bro. The reason we was pushed to that side also is because of our single moms didn't know no better. We saw this stuff firsthand where we're looking around and say, where all of our dads at? But we're wondering, why is these people that are in this party that we supposed to be supporting for us, looks like everything that they don't put on legislation is against us. And I remember
us as a
real quick, if I can make a point real quick, you know, to address the gentleman to my right. You want to talk about racism and Trump freed of the 10,000 people that he worked with Kim Kardashian to free, 91% of them were black.
Man, I saw this in real life, bro. I don't mean to cut you off, but I just want to agree with you.
I was going to say,
I don't want to, and I just don't want to agree with you, but I got to get this out. I saw this in real life. 5 brothers that went to prison when I was a teenager. Out now owning businesses in the community. They went for nonviolent crimes. Out now owning trucking businesses, owning restaurants, owning business in our community. But I had to throw that in there, bro. This is real life.
No problem, bro. I appreciate that. I appreciate your anecdotal evidence. And also,
wow,
you are hung up on him saying Proud Boys stand down. I'm not going to insult you. Do you see how, and I hope you see this, because it would suggest progress is being made. Do you see how completely ridiculous what you're saying is? You said Proud Boys stand down as an example of racism when he freed 9,000 black people out of prison. And the gentleman below said those black men got out and do what a lot of ex-criminals do. They start businesses. So now that's more black businesses that can potentially hire black people. And all you can talk about is something about the goddamned Proud Boys. I hope progress is being made. If not, there's no hope.
Let me say what I gotta say before we, because I just let me say that to y'all, because this is gonna be a minute, man.
It ain't gonna be a minute with me. I promise you I'll be quick.
Go ahead, fam.
Yeah, so I really want to debate what I said, not what you said I said. So what I actually said, and it started from the Southern strategy, that there's been a strategy to cater to racism in the Republican Party for a very long time. And it was actually started by Nixon, called the Southern strategy. And that's why I brought up Trump as an example. And it's more than just him. It's more because it's also more than just the Proud Boys. What about when he was sitting there when they had that? What about when he said it was good people on both sides when he was talking about?
I agree with him. I agree with him. Okay, and I can prove it.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. But that wasn't even because I was talking about the pattern of it. That's why we even saw with the welfare queen with Reagan. It's a strategy that we can't listen. I get it, and I said this from the start. So I don't even know how, because I don't agree with every talking point, and I don't just walk with every point that everybody made on here. That makes you liberal when sometimes you just don't agree with everything that's on the right.
No, your point's
hold on real quick, Big Dog. Hold on real quick. Sometimes you don't, because I'm gonna tell you, and that's why I started off saying most of us as blacks have conservative principles. Most of us do. Like, and me too. I'm fiscally conservative, very, and I believe in limited government. That's conservative. I also believe in I don't believe in the gay agenda. That's mostly conservative. It's a whole lot of things about me that's very conservative, but it's one part about me that I would never do, and I'm not going to ignore what's to me the obvious catering to the races that happens.
What about the race?
Okay.
What about the racism?
Okay, so let me ask you a question, right?
See what happened? No,
Let me break this down. Hold on. Let me break this down.
No, brother. I've been waiting. I said I was gonna wait.
Fantastic.
I kept my promise.
Yeah, so
hey, okay, I got one.
God
My bad. No, because
W was next.
When I said fantastic, got it.
Oh, okay.
I meant Mr. Fantastic, the gentleman. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Mr. Fantastic. Let's
go. Yeah, I done waited fucking 37 rounds. But anyway, listen. Hey, man, shout out to Bernard, man. Hey, it's a great conversation, though, man. I appreciate it. Hey, it's keeping what's name. But to the topic, Bernard, when I came in, the original topic was King Randall and his comments, right? But you guys are somewhere different. So I just don't want to get too far off. But right, the King Randall comments was the original topic, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, man, I may not agree with King Randall when it comes to the thing. I still don't agree with him about enabling bad behavior, and just horrible practices that's dooming the Black community of each man taking care of a kid that's not his. Because what that's going to encourage is women to continue to start picking or keep picking unfit fathers to have children by, knowing that they're going to have some.
That's his one blind spot.
And other than that, man, he again.
Wait, he said that?
Yeah. Yes, brother. We've again. That's the only bro. King Randall is the most productive, the youngest, the most result getting dude out here that has no shine. He doesn't promote himself he's not a pro-Black. He doesn't promote himself. He doesn't beg for donations and none of this shit like Tariq Nasheed or like Umar Johnson and none of this stuff. This dude's I think 24 years old, 25 years old, and he's walking it like he talking, bro. The only
I mean, I bought his shirts and I supported him, but. But I just wanted to disagree on one point.
Brother, your mic is on Jesus. Yo, brother, turn your mic down.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
My bad.
Go ahead,
that's just the way I'm logged into the show. That's why I talk like that, because it sounds different. My bad, bro. But I'm saying he's not the only.
You cutting him off though. You cutting off Fantastic.
Yeah.
No, but I was going into his point so he can understand something.
I think he could let him make his own point.
Yeah, brother. I'm really good with this word shit, brother. I really am. I appreciate the help though. Listen, what I'm saying though. Yeah, man. At the end of the day, bro. Black people hate good examples. For whatever reason, when you tell Black people, hey, we complain about, people from Israel, we complained about the immigrants, and it's funny that we talked all this shit about the immigrants, right? Because I don't know if you guys went over the source of where he got from the Patrick Bet-David thing. He was talking about how Indians, bro, I looked at the video, or I didn't even know if King Randall had talked about it. Then I saw his thing or whatever his thing on it, and I'm like, bro, this is the perfect blueprint. Why can't Black people just start doing some of these things, if not all of these things? Because of course, we're never going to be married to the degree they're married. But have your kids study more, get more involved with this. And, when you do get a degree and you get all this, especially these single moms, they get this free money from FAFSA and, they get these grants and stuff to go to school. Instead of you motherfucking getting, studies and all this bullshit or whatever, bro, why not, go to something that's going to be management or STEM based? You see what I'm saying? The proven working thing. So, yeah, man, again, this is just another unfortunate, perfect example that Black people could be using. But yet and still, all we're going to do is blame the white man, even though, again, it's been shown clearly the white man is getting his ass whooped by too many people. So that's what's so funny to me when niggas be like, oh, the white man got his foot on my neck. So you mean to tell me he going to stand on your broke ass neck and not stop the rich motherfucker neck? I just can't get it, man. But that's all I wanted to say.
And to Mr. Fantastic point, I wanted to say that Roland Martin did attack King Randall.
Absolutely.
Yeah, early on.
And I wanted to tell Mr. Fantastic that's why I disagree with him, because there's a plethora of brothers out here. They're just not on the internet and known. There's a lot of guys out here doing what King Randall is doing and more. You're just not going to see them advertising on the internet, because we're actually the backbone holding up. I mentor and coach kid. I've been doing it for the last 10 years. The thing is, you'll never see me brag about that on the internet. Now, I disagree with what you said. He said about the single moms because it's becoming a problem. Yeah. And they're getting complacent with it. And I think it ties back to that party we're speaking against. They push that agenda. And they've tried to push that agenda for a long time. That's all I want to say on that part.
All right, real quick. I do, hold on real quick. Hold your thought. Whoever that was about to speak, hold your thought. I do got to get to the super chats. Do got to get to the people that have been supporting the stream. I'm gonna pull this one up. Go to the last one that I will get ready to click on the last one that I didn't read after we get to this one. But Super Duper in the building. He says racist white folks is always going to be there on both sides, red and blue. We black men all about our money and families and taking back our households. Thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that. Hudson Jackson II in the building says Malcolm today would still call far leftist extremists political chumps. Thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that. I think there's a lot of truth in what you said right there. Mr. Tobert in the building says they have math problems, talking about if black kids get pulled over by white cops, etc. Yeah, that is out there. That is out there. But thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that. Appreciate everybody who's supporting the stream. I know it was won by Sir Tice. I know Sir Tice dropped. There it is. Shout out to Sir Tice dropping $20 on it on the super chat. And do appreciate you, Sir Tice. Somebody, whoever slamming dishes in the sink, mute up.
That was my son. I'm sorry.
All right. As a Florida resident,
that was my boy. I'm sorry.
As a Florida resident, what Boss said is wrong. The reason the government pushed back on that is because in a Black History course, it included a section called queer theory. Dudes hear race and immediately think it means black. That's a good point. That is a good point. It's a lot of stuff smuggled in there. They do that all the time with everything political, pro-choice. Who could be against choices? Okay, but yeah, but they're talking. What are they really talking about, though? So yeah, we do. You do gotta scratch beneath the surface. Sir Tice in the building says, critical race theory main goal is to continually dumb down gullible Negroes so they will not be competitive in the future.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Fantastic mentioning Yuri what's his name? Bezmenov.
Right?
Bezmenov. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. I think that's the last of the super chats. Do appreciate everybody. Oh wait, no, one more. Well, yeah, I don't know how many more. Sir Tice back in the building with another one. He says he's offended by dog whistles.
Damn right.
Yeah, we'll get in that. That's where we'll go next. He said he's offended by.
You should be too.
He's offended by dog whistles, as if the left doesn't do it.
Whoever does it.
Oppressed systemic equality. There's dog whistles on the left as well, is his point that he's making. But go ahead, let's talk about that, because I mean I've said that point. We'll come back to that. That yes, Donald Trump, there's a aspect of the Republican Party now, and I've made my peace with that. That there's a percentage of them that's racist. There's also there's a percentage of people on the Democrat side of things that are very problematic to the progression of men or black men, of patriarchy, of everything that would matter to us. It is a dividing line. Either you vote as black man, if you vote Republican, you're voting at the same way as the Tiki Torch posse, and then if you vote Democrat, you vote. Seriously, if you vote Democrat, okay. You're voting with the same way as a bunch of blue and purple haired feminists and with the party that subsidizes and incentivizes all the shit that basically keeps black people stuck in the same. No, they know. You're voting with the people that subsidize and incentivize all the policies and everything, the culture that keeps black people stuck in the same spot.
Bernard, Bernard, that's what I was going to ask you to tie to what you're saying to the other guy before I leave, because I got to leave out. But that's why I say we need to go back to we need to stick to what's on paper. If we go to what the Democrats got on paper and what the Republican paper got, what favors us the most? And I guarantee from what I've looked at, Republicans are winning by a long shot when it comes to our values. That's all I want to say.
And also, if I could chime in real quick.
To your point, I just want to say the one thing. And paternalism is considered racism, and that's heavily on the left.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And also, you're more offended by a dog whistle. You'll cancel out.
Your cake is not ready.
Let me finish. You will cancel out actual, tangible overtures to Black people that made their lives better, the funding of HBCUs, the releasing of all these Black men from what people considered unfair long-term prison sentences for crimes that didn't meet the sentence they were given. You'll ignore that. Do you realize how insane that makes you sound? You got more to say about a dog whistle, a meaningless statement about Proud Boys, than you have to say about actual tangible things that were done to improve Black people's lives. This is why guys that think like you get no respect with your political positions, because it is insanity to give more credence.
Why you got to do all that?
Because you make no sense.
You don't got to do all that, Like this is like you claim to have
no sense,
this is
sir.
too feminine, bro.
So
Like
it's not feminine. You guys make no sense. The way you think is feminine.
Hey, listen,
you're giving more credence to a dog whistle.
Differences, bro.
No,
listen,
look,
it don't
these
take all this
differences are not
stuff
legitimate.
It don't take all this.
These differences are not legitimate.
Listen, you going way too far.
No, I'm not. I'm not going far enough.
And then you doing a whole lot of words dropping in people's mouths that they not saying. And then we got to turn around and
poisoning Black people.
We not saying.
The things you say poison Black people's minds, just like Jason Black.
I didn't even say nothing about the dog whistle. He did. You addressing his dog whistle to me.
No. And you agreed with him. You had a problem with the dog whistle.
No. And I said I got to agree with anybody who did it. If you actually heard me, I said anybody, because he was saying it happens on both sides. And I said you should have a problem with it regardless of who does it, whether it's a Republican or it's a liberal.
No. I don't have a problem with dog whistles. Let me explain to you. I don't have a problem.
So you
I don't have a problem with dog whistles.
And I ain't even say what you're saying. I'm saying
I don't have a problem with dog whistles when the man has so much proof of what he's done for Black people. I don't have a problem with your goddamn dog whistle.
I got a problem with dog whistles at all times.
This is ridiculous.
Let me ask something.
And it's ridiculous.
I care about actions.
And I should have a problem with dog whistles. I should have a problem with anybody that's placating to a people that want me dead.
Okay. Hold on.
When you are placating, and when you're minimizing,
we will get nowhere with guys like you.
Making it safe.
We're not getting anywhere with guys that think like you.
Bro, hold on. Let me ask you a question, right?
Wait, real quick. Okay. Who wants you dead? Explain that. Who wants you dead?
All right. So my whole point is this: when you are catering to people and dog whistles, because we said both sides do it. The people that they catering to don't want us. Don't want us around. Dog whistles a period, whether it's coming from the left or right or middle or against us as a people, regardless of where the dog whistle is coming from. So yes, you should have a problem with it. I should have a problem with it, whether the dog whistle is coming from the right or the left.
I ain't got no problem with dog whistles.
Real quick. But you still pandering to bad. I got a problem with that.
I'm a man. I don't care about dog whistles.
Yeah, okay, listen to this. Do you got a problem? Do you got a problem with race? There's a percentage of racist white people. You say they don't want you around. You went from they want you dead to they don't want you around. Are you saying they just don't want to be around you? Is the problem is that they don't want to be around you, or they're actively doing something to hurt or harm you? Because I'm good with a percentage of white people who don't care to be around Black people. That's fine with me. That's not an issue.
Well, I put it like this: if I got a problem with white folks who don't want to be around me just because I'm Black, I do have a problem with that. I do.
I said on my very first stream with Bernard Riley was why I'm voting for Donald Trump like 4 years ago, and I said then, and I'm gonna ask you the same question. Why do you care if some white people don't like you? 99.99999% of white people will never have an effect on your life whatsoever. Why do you care? Please answer that for me.
Yeah, because white folks, that's like that have been organizing and actually dangerous. Oh, you wanted an answer. So when you start getting the answer, you act like that when you start. I ain't even finishing. You already start like huffing and puffing.
This is insane.
What is wrong with
wait.
you?
Let him go. Go ahead.
Like, what is wrong with
hold
you?
on. You said, hold on, wait, come on. You said white people like that.
Yeah, like where do we think these bombs came from? What do you think? Like, what do you think the massive growth, even according to the FBI, of hate groups are coming from? They not coming out of nowhere.
There's no massive growth of hate groups. This is nonsense.
I want to say something.
Goddamn, you ask for a goddamn answer and you get it and you start whooping. Like, you really don't want the answer, do you? You want to be right. Just go ahead. Let's go ahead. You want to be so goddamn right.
Hold on,
as soon as I start
can
talking.
you hear me talking? Can you hear me talking? All right. Here's the deal. Well, this is what I observe. The white people who, in practice and in speech, say it audibly out loud on a microphone that, yeah, they don't want to be around black people. And yes, they would like black people and think it's best for black people and white people to just separate. The people who say that, the Jared Taylors of the world, he used to have a YouTube channel. It was called American Renaissance. It's gone. It's off YouTube. Nick Fuentes, banned on every platform. So basically the white, the out of the closet white separatists, they're considered pariahs in society. In all polite society, they're banned and shunned and kicked and deplatformed, and everybody accepts it and understands it, and it is what it is. Jason Black, people like Jason Black, who spit the black equivalent of what they're talking about, is free to be on YouTube every day, fighting white supremacy on a platform ran by people who he would call white supremacists, who are banning actual card carrying white supremacists. So that's the problem when you say these people are organizing, these people that don't want to be around black people, they are organizing and they're going to do something. It's like, I'm not really seeing that. I'm seeing a smaller group of white people who are on the fringe in society, who are, basically talking about white nationalism and separate. I keep hearing a little squeak or something that's kind of annoying. I don't know who that is. They're on the fringe talking about, honestly, they're not even talking about doing anything to black people. They're just talking about separating from.
Which isn't acceptable.
And I have no problem with that. None at all.
The white man has to love me. If the white man don't love me like the white liberals do, I'm angry. I don't like that the white man don't like me. I need the white man to stick his thumb about as far up his ass, off my ass as he can get it. And if he doesn't love me and want to kiss me in my mouth, I don't approve of it. Bernard, we played a video of a black man running up to a white neo-Nazi and demanding that he hug him and hold him in a warm embrace. This is insanity. And Bernard, every time I played that video, it made you cringe. It made you cringe. You didn't even want to play it on your channel. It's so disgusting.
I didn't. Yeah.
But
Can I ask a question? I wanted to say something too, little Big Nate. To deal with hate crimes, what do the Jays do? What do the Jays do? They use their economic power to silence it. So rather than just complain and cry about it, you can just try to build yourself up and your community up and use economic means to silence them, rather than just cry and act like a child.
Economics. I agree with you, and this is a whole thing with Lil Big Nate, and I'm gonna have to agree with him on the Southern when he talks about the South being the most blended. I'm not gonna say integrated, the most blended. Stay away from cities with lesbian mayors, basically. Here's the thing: the world loves tawny men. The world loves colored men. They don't like your women. You like your women, so they don't rock with you. The reason that people get money to move out the hood is because you like your women, but they're trying to stay away from your women and they demon kids. They don't care about moving around black men at all. They like to see families, and man makes the family. When you want to see the left destroy your family, they support they support liberal women because they know liberal women hate men. Girls that got pink, purple, green hair that don't grow on any mammal on earth, they're like, let's give her some money so she can destroy from the inside out. Y'all don't know who y'all real enemies are. But the world loves tawny men. They want to support you. They want to help you. And every time they help you, You put your girl on a pedestal, then you try to find Mexicans and Puerto Ricans and Asians and call it a crayon box and be like black and brown coalitions. At no time do you say, I'm going to take my nuts and be a man.
People of color. People of color. Yeah. That nonsense. There was a man up here a couple of months ago that literally asked me this. He said, tell me if I'm telling the truth, Bernard. This gentleman said, what are we? This is a quote verbatim. What are we supposed to do, we as black men, when a white man mistreats, whatever the fuck that means, a person of color? End quote. Do you realize how insane that is? I'm supposed to care about a Mexican in East LA who was let's say a white Uber driver comes to pick up this vato from the Slauson swap meet who wanted to pick up some tube socks, right? And the fucking Mexican lives out in East LA, one of those MS-13 hotbeds, right? White boy comes, doesn't realize that the MS-13 motherfucker wants to go to the most violent part of East LA. White boy in the Uber says, oh my God, Mr. Eduardo Lopez, I'm not going to be able to take you to that neighborhood. I apologize. I'm going to refund your money. You'll have to call a taxi. And when Eduardo Lopez gets on Instagram and says, hey, man, these gringos, these white gringos, he wouldn't take me to East LA. I am a person of color. I need black people to come to my aid and we can fight against this gringo. I'm supposed to get up in South Carolina, get away from my job, my 2 children, my responsibilities, the Black Manosphere meetup, and go help this fucking person of color. This is why I hate niggas on the left. I hate them. And forgive me, but I hate these niggas. Thank you.
All right, real quick. Hold on, wait. Shout out to Sir Tice for that super chat. If it was another one, pull that one up. Little Big Nate, your impression of that was a funny ass impression you just did.
Come to my channel, you crazy niggas. Come to my fucking Rumble channel. I do that and much more. Thank you.
All right, yeah. Drop his
Nate.
Rumble in the chat after you bring up the next super chat. I think Sir Tice did drop a super chat that we did want to respond to a little more, so let's not forget that one. But is that the same one? Okay, yeah. When you I don't got it. I don't got the super chat. I don't got it. I think I'm missing them. Yeah, when you get around to it, bring up the super chats that if you're there, if you can hear me. I don't know if Arm is in the back. If you're there, bring them up.
Let me ask this.
But go ahead.
All right, and I want to ask this guy a question.
Hey,
what is more concerning?
Whoa! Can you hear the guy with the M talking? I think that's Black Thought. Can you hear him? I don't think he can hear you. I don't think the two of y'all can hear each other.
Let me ask this guy a question. What's a more pressing issue? What the left is doing to black people or something someone said? One is actually actively attacking you and one said something. Which is a more pressing issue to you?
Good question.
The guy with the white headphones. That question is to you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, from the way that you frame your question, it would be what's actually being affected to you. But if you actually look at the facts, it's actually a major
brother. Hold on. Again, which is a more pressing issue?
I answered your question. I said, based on how you phrased your question, it's obvious what the answer is.
Okay, so the theory of dog whistles thrown out the window. I have another question for you. Do you believe that they're teaching critical race theory in schools?
Well, I don't really know. I really don't. All I was saying is I was looking at the bills that's being put out there and I look at it against the principles of the Republicans.
Sir, you're back talking about the Republicans. You just watched the video of the educators themselves saying they're teaching critical race theories in school. I ask you, do you believe it? You sit here and say to me, I don't know, the Republicans. Jesus fucking Christ. You know what?
And my frustration.
Little Big Nate is right. Niggas don't give a fuck about truth. Bernard Riley, thank you for having me up. Guys,
that's all you got. Was that supposed to be a got you or some bullshit?
You know that was a really good question, actually, man.
Yeah, because okay, so this is the deal. When we having a conversation, that's why I was asking people, like, well, I forgot the guy that he was in here, and he said that critical race theory was about teaching white guilt. And I was like, can you show me an example of that? Because I just want to see this. I want to see where this type of stuff is being taught.
But he asked you a really good question, and I really wanted to hear your response.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like what's being put out there as what critical race theory is.
No, I'm talking about what he asked you. What's more oppressive, what the left is actually doing through policy or somebody talking? That's a really good question.
And I already answered that question. That was an easy answer. So like if I ask the question the way that he answered, it's gonna always lead to that. So what if I said it like this? What if I asked the question? I said, which one is worse? Somebody that has policies that directly affect your people, or somebody that can be given a race haven for people to grow unchecked, where they're actually growing dangerous groups that organize against your people. It's all about how you frame the question.
The one with the pen.
Question to make it sound as if
no, I'm gonna answer it directly. The one with the pen, bro.
Hold on real quick.
No, I'm answering your question. The one with the pen.
Can I address that? Because it's just not true.
Because see, this is the thing that happened in my neighborhood, man.
Wait, let me just say
this. Let me tell you what happened in my neighborhood, which might make y'all see this different.
Real quick.
I'm in an all-black neighborhood.
And that's
I had all white supremacists show up to my church across from my high school.
Okay? Sir, do you know, sir, I have a question for you. Do you know that 90+% of white America is in favor of interracial relationships? That is a clear counter to your claim that these exploding, incredibly huge racist organizations, first of all, if you know anything about the Ku Klux Klan, many of them are federal agents, and the others are Democrats who are on crack and methamphetamines. I'm not worried about the Klan. I'm not worried about white guys with teaching. Well, let me finish. I'm not worried about white guys with.
They showed up to your hood.
No, sir. Let me ask you this.
They showed up to my hood. I know you ain't worried about it.
Let me ask you this.
They probably ain't show up to your hood.
Let me ask you this, and I'll stop.
Yeah, they did. They showed up to
That's what I'm worried about.
This point will make it.
They showed up to my hood.
This point will make it for you, sir. Who has burned down more black businesses since everybody all these dudes on the left? I'm not saying you are. Like to talk about Black Wall Street. In the last 30 years, who's burned down more black businesses? White people or leftist black people? Who's burned down more black businesses? Hundreds of them. And who's done that, sir?
I mean, shit. I mean, you
won't answer.
Blacks.
Okay, let me say
this. Okay, you answered. Thank you.
Hold on. Nate, let me just say this real quick, because y'all keep skipping the word, and that's why I get
like he know. Like he got the census report who did the burnings.
Well, check this out, bro. I don't want to hit a babble. Look, this is a problem that I have with when you guys start talking about the CRT. And it's the one word that you guys keep missing, which really hurts my feelings. And it's public, right? That's what they're putting in public schools. That's why there's states fighting what the curriculum is going to be in public schools. There are charter schools, boarding schools, Catholic schools, home schools. It's not a curriculum. It's what they do in public schools. You know what else everybody does? They build their own schools. When I got to listen to coloreds tell me about somebody else's conspiracy theory, and I say, why the fuck don't you conspire with your brothers? They can't, because they worried about Keisha. If Keisha wake up at 2 a.m. and have a dream that you was cheating and call the police, you're going to blame the white cops for taking you out your house and skip the fact that Keisha called them. The fact that y'all skip everything that's masculine, making plans, strategizing, you know what I'm saying, loving your brother as you love yourself, teamwork, accountability, You know what I'm saying? Everything just so y'all can hide behind a skirt and a crayon box is amazing to me, but it's not really, because it just shows me 15 people can put all y'all niggas in slavery. I don't need 47 million colors to ride with me. I need 15 people, 5 thinkers, 10 shooters, and all y'all niggas to be on my plantation.
And what Dirty Folks just said proves a point I made a couple of years ago. Well, not a couple of years ago. Last year, I think, when what's his face? What's that nigga's name? Jesus, the bald nigga, Mr. Something, Mr. Let Go. When Mr. Let Go was on Bernard's platform, he copped out to a question I asked him. I said, which is more formidable foe? Which is more a devastating, damaging force to black men? White supremacy or black feminism, which has destroyed the black community? That cop-out king, that's not too insulting, but he's copped out. He said, he screamed out, both. And I said, you're lying. Black feminism is a much more deadly foe to the black community. Feminism has damn near destroyed the American family. It's absolutely destroyed the black family, but you're still more angry at Proud Boys. Stand down. This is insane. It's completely insane. And this is where that gentleman that wilded out and left gets his angst from. This is where I get my fucking agita with niggas that think like this from. You Jason Black niggas that listen to this nonsense. You are destroying our race. Period. You're destroying us. This thinking is destroying us. This is why I get so fucking completely bent out of shape when niggas got more problems with, and shout out to my nigga, the village arsonist. Niggas got more problems with Trump being against fucking, what's his name? The black football player. What's his name? Out in San Francisco.
Colin Kaepernick?
Yeah, Kaepernick. Niggas got more problem with Donald Trump saying something about Donald Kaepernick should lose his job than they give credit to Trump for all the black lives he improved. This is fucking insanity, and we will get nowhere trying to argue with guys that think like this. It's insane.
We don't. And remember, there's two different black communities, bro. Remember. So it's not all of us. There's a great percentage of us that know what's going on, adapted to it, and we're prospering, working together. Then there's that other one. Then there's that other one that you're trying. We ain't trying to convince them no more. We know what we gonna get. That's the move that we on. You ever come down to Texas? Come see the movement that we on. That percentage you talking about, I'm talking about men and women. We leaving them where they're at. Ain't no changing them. The ones that want to go and want to listen, they can come. Like Nipsey said, everybody can't go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the whole premise of separation. Any black man, and I've said this a few times, when black men talk about how we need to feed our people, we need to come together, the black men that usually say that are unproductive black men who are trying to sell the idea that they have to wait on the actions of 20 million black men to do something before they can.
And
that is a poisonous ideology. It's poisonous. I have to take care of my family. Bernard Riley has to take care of his. Any other man on this panel that has children and a woman have to take care of them. And then those like-minded men can come together and accomplish great things. If you're sitting here talking about we need to feed our people and we need to do this and we need to do that, you're a nigga. Chances are that ain't doing shit.
I like this guy, man. He be having me rolling, bro.
Subscribe to the Rumble, like I'm telling you.
And I'm a big fan of you, Bernard. I got to get out of here, though, man. But appreciate your panel, bro. I'm gonna support you every time.
All right, cool. Peace. Thanks for coming up. Bring up any super chats that haven't been read. I want to make sure I get to all of them before we get out of here. That was the last one we talked about. I don't know if it was one. Okay, here we go. Clay Bigsby in the building. He says, back to the main topic. Malcolm X also told us not to trust the liberal. We can search the speech on YouTube. Absolutely. Actually, I think that plays in Little Big Nate's intro on his channel. Yeah, I think that's very speech you're talking about plays in Little Big Nate's intro. Super Duper says racist white folks is always going to be there on both sides, red and blue. We black men all about our money and families and taking back our households.
Boom.
Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Super Duper says both sides dog whistle. I think I read this one. Both sides dog whistle, but we can't let that stop us from moving forward. I know I haven't read this one. He said, "Wait, no, go back. Yeah, okay." He said, "Both sides dog whistle, but we can't let that stop us from moving forward. We ain't really trying to be friends with white folks. I think you mean because we vote. I don't know what you mean by we vote blue or red, but thank you for that super chat. Do appreciate that. As far as that being friends, and like I just I hope I make the point clear, because I do have to like push pause sometimes and make it seem like, listen, I ain't caping for white folks. I ain't fighting a battle. I'm just saying, like, when it comes to the actual true racist white folks, like I said, even white people right now are working hard to push them off to the fringe of society. But if there's a percentage of them, I don't know what that percentage is. It's just saying we don't like black people. We don't want to be around black people. I don't give a shit, and I'm like, I'm very, like fuck y'all too. Like that's it's like, but it's like at some point we got to understand they got no effect on us. It's like this whole idea of ridding the world of all racism. That's kind of pie in the sky. Now, if we had a tyrannical government, like, I mean, put it like this: that's the argument, and that's the fight. Show for a tyrannical racist government that is applying it across the board right now. That's something that's something to fight against. That's something to fight against. Like what was going on during Jim Crow, that was something to fight against. What was going on, that's where it's at now. Right now, what we got is something different. It's like the fight is different now. Right now, the fight is economic. There's a fight. Like, look at the lack of black businesses. It's so like an increase in black businesses would drive up an increase in black employment. I mean, like it's go ahead, Dirty. Well, hold on real quick. Let me get to the rest of the super chats. I wanted to land that plane a little better, but
I got you.
Whatever. I'm just gonna move forward. Mike and Vince Perkins in the building with $2 super chat. He says I didn't say that guy again. Support. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Chris Hutchins in the building says, before we go, who y'all got tonight, Davis or Garcia? I ain't even keeping up. I ain't going in front. I can't even.
Davis. Probably
Garcia. I don't even got a good answer.
Before we go there,
but thank you for supporting the live stream, everybody. Do appreciate each and every one. Go ahead, Dirty.
Just want to say this real quick. White American men are my friends. I'm not going to differentiate between color, right? American men are my friends. What you have been told is black women are your friends, and they're not. You've been told that if you want to start a business, you have to cater to black women, and you should never, because they're capricious in nature. When you think about you own 1% of America's wealth, there's 99 more cents out there.
That's what I was talking about. Hold on real quick. I'm so sorry to interrupt. That's what I was talking. When I said I was trying to land that plane a little better, that's what I was getting at when I was talking about the lack of black businesses. That's what's at the tip of my tongue. This shit is up for grabs. We should own more than just 1%. 13% of the population own 1%, like 1 or 2. I forgot exactly, but it's too small of a number.
Because
anyway,
here's how the op thing works, right? And it's funny because somebody said in the chat about, man, don't forget about the pimps, the gangbangers, and somebody else. Here's the thing. When I start, if you're from Chicago, y'all know what a bucket boy is. Bucket boys are basically kids like 12 years old that have buckets and they play them like drums and beg you for money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I ran into 2 of them at a gas station. Well, it was 3 of them. And I told them, I said, look, I ain't gonna give you no money, but I'll buy you something to eat and I got a conversation for you. I said, if y'all come here tomorrow at 2 o'clock, you meet me at 2 o'clock, I'll show you some things. It was a Sunday. They came back at 2 o'clock, but it was summertime, so it don't really matter what day, but it was a Sunday. They came back, 2 of them met me at 2 o'clock. I took them to the park. They had never been to the park. They never seen ducks live. I don't know what the fuck type of parents they got, but so I chopped it up with them for a minute. I said, well, look, if y'all come back at 2 o'clock tomorrow, I'm gonna show you some things. So that's a Monday. They all black women know great paperwork, but they don't know shit about kids. So I go to this youth center that had a summer work program going on, but none of the kids work, but they got paid. And this is what I didn't think about. I was 31 years old. So what I'm not thinking about is these boys is 12, 13, but the guys they look up to is 17, 18. And them little homies that knew them, they was like, oh my God, that's my idol. And I remember that being a freshie looking up to the seniors. But all they idols was like, yo, they called me the 20% dude because I'd already talked to them before and told them they ain't got no bills except a cell phone bill, say 20% of their money. So they called me Mr. 20%. So now they really indentured. And I asked the shorties, I said, are y'all in the gang? They was like, man, they was trying to claim shit. I said, let's ride down on whatever set you on. I'm going to tell them niggas y'all my boys. They was like, oh, they going to kill you, man. I'm like, man, shorty, we going to ride. They don't realize that I've been this dude for a long time. So when they go to their cliques, I went to the GDs, the Mickey Cobras, and the Vice Lords. And I was like, yo, I'm finna grab these boys. They're like, the Bucket Boys? And they was like, yo, 30. You gonna have a moving work? I said, man, bro, you know I ain't in the streets like that. I say, man, I'm gonna teach them landscaping or something. They was like, all right, if they your boys and they ain't no dirt, nigga, they under protection. So now I got them protected by 3 street gangs. So now they safe so we can hold meetings in the park. All while this is going on, I'm going to schools. I'm talking to principals. Like, look, can I have meetings at your school? The same way the Boy Scouts would do. We can't support kids in the community like that. Our insurance. All these goofy bitches that I see at all these fundraisers and all these political rallies, and they're like, here's my card. When I call you, I can't help you. The gangs help me, but these goofy ass bitches in administrative can't help. Cool. I went from 2 boys. Within a week, I had 60 boys. Took a picture, put it on Facebook. Somebody sent a message because at this point now I'm looking at the RICO because they still coming. So I'm like, I can't catch no RICO because I'm a player. So I gave them all permission slips so I could put them on a charter. All I know is 2 chicks on Facebook who I don't even know, but they my Facebook friends. They see a picture I post. Was like, are those the Bucket Boys? I was like, yeah. Next thing you know, the hardest boy, the one I want to fight everybody, come to me like, man, Dirty, Mr. Dirty, my mama saw that picture on Facebook and she said such a, I said, oh shit. And because my whole philosophy was black women don't give a fuck about their kids. They don't care where their kids go. If you do an organized event, she'll try to drop them off, but I don't want any supervision from a goofy black bitch. So I'm taking them off the street and I'm running it like a gang. I'm just not having them in no dirt. I'm just giving them jobs. All the people that were supposed to provide a job, all they want to do is save hoes. And all hoes want to do is save themselves. So, man, I understand what Randall did, and he did it right, but he said wrong when he said he did it for the women. He's supporting the women. He should have been trying to get them young shooters. But maybe that's just me thinking because I want to be like a warlord. But that didn't the point. The point is everybody receptive. You just got to do shit. People always say shit, and then they be like, I don't like your approach, but you ain't doing shit. Anything I do, 50% of success is me showing up. And I'm everywhere, and you ain't never there.
All right. We about to slide up out of here. Do appreciate each and every one of you who came through today. Everybody who supported the stream in any way, shape, or form. Whether you like, share, subscribe, super chat, Cashapp, did anything to support this thing. Do appreciate each and every one of you. I do believe that I did read every actual super chat. Oh, I see real quick. Nate got something down there. I think Nate is got a stream. This was what time you going live later today?
Yeah, 7 o'clock. Maybe, just maybe, leftist black women and gay black men could build the perfect world together.
That should be interesting. That should be interesting. All right.
I am the thumbnail guy. Thank you.
All right. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Peace. We gone.